Good evening, hello, and welcome to the first Premier League watch-along we've done in about a week. Busy one, this one. We are into the last two games of the Premier League, and what a game this is going to be. Sheffield United, they take on Everton in the Premier League. Kickoff is at 6 p.m. UK time, so we are about just under 15 minutes away from this game starting. It's a big match, this one. Sheffield United, of course, one of the shock candidates for European this season, but they do need to win today against a struggling Everton side. Of course, they have not done too good in the last recent few weeks since the break, so they desperately need to somehow claw some results back today and try and get as many points as they can on the board. So welcome along to the stream, everybody. Thank you very much for everybody that has joined. There we go, camera is on. Welcome. Freshly shaved, freshly ready, all prepared to go for what is our pretty much second to last watch-along live of the Premier League. Everton have got a lot of work to do, as do Sheffield United, of course. It's going to be a very tricky game, as you can see on both sides. We have the home side today of Sheffield United on the left-hand side, and the away side of Everton on the right-hand side. We're going to go through the teams in a moment, talk about these sides very briefly, and then, of course, get underway with the game. 90 minutes to come, and what hopefully should be a pretty tasty and enthralling fixture indeed. To anybody in the chat, welcome along. Hope you're all good today. If there is a little bit of lag here and there, I will put my hands up and say I do apologise. Obviously, this is kind of like the first stream I've done since that previous Liga watch-along where it was a little bit laggy. So I'm hoping that maybe today it might just be a little bit more better and a lot more calmer in terms of streaming. So do tell me if there is a little bit of lag, and if there is, then I'll try and sort it out as much as I can. But as far as I'm aware, right now I haven't dropped any frames. So we're in a good position so far. Of course, if you want to watch this game tonight, it is available on Amazon Prime. I have not got any sponsor with Amazon Prime, so of course if you do want to go, they do a free subscription. You can sign up for it with a free subscription, and then what you can even do afterwards, if you don't want to pay, you can just cancel it straight afterwards. So at least you're able to watch the match for free tonight. And I think as well, you just need an Amazon account tonight to be able to watch this one, so there shouldn't be any issues for people here and there to go and watch this game. But of course, that's what we're here to talk about today. Big match between Sheffield United and Everton, and what a game this is. As I said, for Everton, pretty much the season is over. They cannot go for anything in terms of a European spot. That race is now finished for them. Carlo Ancelotti, of course, coming into the side. Just, I think, after Christmas, of course, played that first game against Liverpool about January time, and since then they've not really had a very impressive spell, of course. Since the return, they've been a little bit disappointing. As for Sheffield United, well, they've been quite impressive for many sides over the course of the Premier League. Not just have they been good since the beginning of the return of the Premier League, they've also been good before it. So we're going to go through the results, of course, of the recent two teams and see how they've done. Kickoff is about 10 minutes away, so get yourselves comfy, get yourselves ready, because for those of you that don't have access to Amazon Prime, we're going to keep you up to date with all of that, as well as all of the scores across the Premier League, of course. Not just are Sheffield United and Everton playing today. There are plenty other fixtures going on. There's in fact two matches going on at 6 o'clock. We have Brighton versus Newcastle also on at the same time, so I'll keep you up to date with the score of that game as well. Kickoff of that game is at 6 o'clock. So in terms of the lineups, let's just quickly talk through them. We've got kind of 10 minutes to fill before the game kicks on. So on the left-hand side, we have the Sheffield United lineup today. It's a 5-3-2, the usual 5-3-2 we would always expect from Chris Wilder. Dean Henderson in goal. It is potentially actually going to be one of his final games for the club, of course, on loan from Manchester United, and no doubt he might be in contention next season for that goalkeeper spot. Of course, David De Gea not really having the best of games yesterday. Against Chelsea, the other back, of course, the back five, Andy Stevens, Jack O'Connell, John Egan, Chris Basham and George Baldock. Chris Basham has certainly been, I think, one of Sheffield's star players this season. In fact, I think a lot of Sheffield United fans would agree he's probably been their player of the season. Really good at the back, and of course, It's the infamous overlapping centre-backs that have done so well for the club. In midfield three, of course, Ollie Norwood, Ben Osborne and Sander Berg. Of course, Sander Berg coming from Belgium in January time alongside Ollie Norwood, who has also been fantastic this season, if I do say so myself. And then up top, we have the Scottish striker, Ollie McBurney, the classic striker/centre-forward, you could say, in terms of his heading ability, and David McGoldrick, of course, who recently scored 2 goals in that game against Chelsea. He needed those goals to get himself underway and on form. And then on the right-hand side, of course, we've got the Everton lineup. It's a 4-4-2 today for Carlo Ancelotti. Jordan Pickford is in goal. Back four of Luca Digne, Michael Keane, Jared Branthwaite, the young English defender, and Djibril Sidibe, the French right-back. Midfield, kind of 4, Tom Davies and Andre Gomez. They've been the 2 consistent featured midfielders of Everton, you could say. Not consistent in terms of how they've played, but consistently starting under Ancelotti, specifically since the return of the Premier League. And then the 2 kind of players on the outer kind of sections of the field. On the left-hand side, it is Gylfi Sigurdsson. A lot of fans not happy with him playing on the left today. And on the right-hand side is Theo Walcott. And then the 2 up top, the usual 2, that has been the kind of the 2 regulars of the Everton side in attack, specifically since Duncan Ferguson came in for his caretaker role. Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. May one of those score today. Of course, Calvert-Lewin needs to score more than anything. It has been a bit of a turbulent time for him in the last couple of weeks. Now, in terms of these sides, on paper, this is a great game of football. Sheffield United, as I said earlier, have not just been impressive since the Premier League began at the beginning of August. They've been fantastic since the return of the Premier League, since the coronavirus break a couple of months ago. They started off pretty slowly. They've got the draw against Aston Villa, which was a little bit disappointing for them. But they've also picked up some great results elsewhere. That big 3-0 win over Chelsea was a great result. But they need to bounce back today, most importantly, because right now, as it currently stands, they're still in the race for a European spot. And they did lose, of course, to Leicester in their previous match. So they really do need to get back at it today. As for Everton, well, as I said before, their season is now over and done with, so there's nothing for them to play for. If Sheffield United do win today, they will move into 7th place on 57 points, of course, still in contention to move into those European spots. I think they will need to get potentially 7th to get a spot. It all depends, of course. If Chelsea do win the FA Cup, then it should go down to 7th place. If Arsenal win, then with the way that it's looking right now, Arsenal would get that Europa League spot. So they desperately kind of need to pray that Arsenal don't win the FA Cup, so they do get a European spot. But they need to beat Everton first, who themselves have been a little bit disappointing since the return of the break. Of course, got a 1-1 draw against Aston Villa, a 1-1 draw against Southampton, and they've been really dismal since the return, I think, is the nicest way to put it for Everton. And of course, it's going to be a really big building job for Carlo Ancelotti this season. A lot of work to be done at the club. I'm just going to adjust my camera very slightly there. There we go. A lot of work for him to do at the club next season. A lot of dead weight in there. And as I said before, there's a lot of consistent starters right now, including the likes of Tom Davies and Andre Gomez, who I do think Everton fans are starting to get a little bit annoyed that these are the same 2 midfielders consistently featuring. As I said, they've got nothing to play for now, so maybe give a couple of the youngsters a start. But it's turbulent times for an Everton fan, just because of he's not going to be a top 10 finish this season. It is looking like they're going to finish 12th. But at the end of the day, Carlo Ancelotti has got a lot of work to do next season, and he's going to hopefully have a lot of cash to spend as well. So it will be interesting to see how Everton do next season. Welcome in, Chris. How are you doing, buddy? Hope you're all good. Hope you are all good today. So the game is going to kick off in just under 5 minutes' time. So if I was you, get yourself a drink ready, just like I am. No ASMR in here. And get yourself comfortable, because there's 2 games going on in the Premier League today. There's Sheffield United and Everton kicking off in just a moment's time. And then there is also a big game between Brighton and Newcastle. Of course, both sides pretty much safe. Newcastle were more than safe, of course, towards kind of like 13th or 14th in the league. Brighton, 100% safe now. So that'll be a pretty decent game to watch in the background. But the most important match is this one. Coming from the South Yorkshire area myself as a Rotherham fan, you would expect me to probably hate the club. And I'm not going to lie, I don't mind Sheffield United. I do have a great appreciation for them and the work that Chris Wilder has done this season and the last couple of seasons as well. You've only got to look a couple of years ago they were towards League One back in the day, and the likes of All in Order were actually there at the time. And it's great to see them in the Premier League doing so well, and it's nice to have different clubs coming in and testing the rest of the usuals, as you could say, in the Premier League. Of course, so many clubs in the Premier League over the last couple of years that have kind of gone up and down, the likes of Norwich and West Brom and Stoke. Hopefully, Sheffield United could be one of those sides that next season build on from what they've done, because so far it's been fantastic to see how well they've done. As for Everton, the players are out right now. They're just going to go through the lineups. Carlo Ancelotti sat on the bench. This is, of course, the Blades' final home game this season, and hopefully they can end it off with a win. They're hoping they can, because, as I said, they need to if they want to get into Europe, of course. 7th place might be enough to get a European spot. They have to rely on Chelsea winning the FA Cup. So, as I said, once again, while the game is going on, I do apologise if I do drop some frames here and there throughout tonight's watch-along. I've solved the problem, but I am going to drop frames here and there. Usually, it does tend to happen when I stream from this kind of program I use called Streamlabs OBS. I drop frames quite a lot when we do YouTube stuff on there, but as long as it's not too bad, we are all right. I'm good, thanks. Finally got my haircut since lockdown. I feel so bold. Even I only got short back and sides. Well, Sanderberg's been good since the restart. Absolutely agree with you, Jesselund. He's been fantastic since the restart. And yeah, I've had a bit of a shave, as you can tell. Looking a little bit fresh. I now just need to get a haircut because, like, I've trimmed it while lockdown's been on, but it needs cutting. And I'll probably get that done in about a week or two. But score predictions in the chat for this one. If you're a fan of Sheffield United or Everton, very best of luck for this game. Of course, United fans will be hoping that they can go and get a win in this match. The players are out. They are just standing, of course, doing the usual. No handshakes, of course, because of the coronavirus. And the game is about to get underway in just a moment's time. So I will get the counter ready. Unfortunately, no Kieran as well today, sadly. He doesn't have Amazon Prime. So it is just me today. So if you can put up with me for the next hour and a half to 2 hours, then fair play to you. Fair play to you. Right. So let's get on with the game. Here we go. We're all ready and raring to go for this big match in the Premier League. Sheffield United take on Everton. And this is going to be a game and a half indeed. Branthwaite, of course, the young Everton centre-back in the lineup today. Of course, I think a lot of Everton fans have been calling for some of the younger players to play in the team today. Of course, a little bit disappointed that some of the players like Tom Davies and Andre Gomes are starting. But, of course, Ancelotti is sticking to his guns. Will it work today? We'll have to find out in just a moment's time. And here we go then. Players are just huddling together. Score predictions in the chat. Jesselund is saying 1-0 to Sheffield United. Chris Welch is saying 0-0 or 3-1 Sheffield United. A win. It's tough to call. It is a tough game on paper. You know, these two sides this season have had their ups and downs. Of course, Sheffield United have had plenty more ups than Everton have had ups themselves this season. But could this be the game where Everton take the opportunity of European football away from Sheffield United? The Dreamers could become believers if they can pick up an important victory today against Everton. The game is about to kick off in just 10 seconds time. The ball is about to get rolling. We are about to get underway. 3, 2, 1. The referee blows his whistle. Of course, they are going to do the kind of standard thing that they do right now for Black Lives Matters with the kneel down. And the game is now underway. Here we go. Pretty much kind of second to last Premier League watch-along, of course. This is a big game as the Blades take on the Toffees. It's Everton taking on Sheffield United in this fixture. The timer will have started, so you'll be able to see on the screen what kind of minute the game is on. Actually, I need to stop it very quickly here, 2 seconds. I'll put it up to 30 seconds, and then we can get in time with the game. There we go. So we're all underway now. Big match, this one. I'm watching the darts. Well, I haven't still been able to watch the darts yet, so I will get around to that at some point. Nice spill. Somebody did notice it. I thought I'd keep that under wraps. I did spill it then. My bad. But we march on. We move on. Didn't spill too much anyway. It's not too bad. But 50 seconds into this, Sheffield United 0, Everton 0. For those of you that maybe haven't seen with the Premier League this season how important this game really is. Sheffield United pretty much must go out and win this game today if they want any hopes of trying to get European football. Of course, the FA Cup final is between Arsenal and Chelsea, so they will desperately want Chelsea to win, of course, because then that does mean they're still within a potential shout of getting a European spot. But a loss today would be very, very disappointing for them. Of course, Sheffield United, it's their final game at Bramall Lane, so they will be looking to go out with a bang, of course, and big, big 3 points. Now, I'm actually watching this game from my mobile, so if I'm looking down, then I do apologise. I was trying to get it on my PlayStation screen and that today, but I actually couldn't get it sorted out. It isn't letting me do it, so I'm a little bit annoyed on that, but I have got the game on, all ready to go. And I tell you what, Watchalongs, I thought I got away with it. I'm not going to lie. I thought I got away with dropping, accidentally spilling it on myself, and I absolutely didn't. I thought if I just continue on and not say anything, then maybe I might just get away with it, no problem, but it's alright. I haven't spilt really a great deal on me. I'm fine, I'm all dry now. It's still kind of pretty musty here in the UK. Of course, we've had a couple of warm days recently, so not too bad at all. But we're 2 minutes into this fixture. Not really had an opportunity on goal yet for either side. As I said, Everton been a very disappointing season, you could say, for them, of course. You've only got to think back and think Marco Silva was the manager at the start of the season, which sounds absolutely crazy when you think about it, and it just proves, of course, how long this season really has been. It's been, you know, pretty much for some clubs a year. Of course, Wolves played in the Europa League qualifiers pretty much a year ago, so what a long season it has been, of course. Coronavirus not helping us at all, but we're now at the final 2 games of the Premier League, and of course it's good to see. But Everton just on the ball on the halfway line here, 3 minutes into this fixture. It's 0-0 Sheffield United and Everton. Don't worry as well, because there are other games going on too in the background. As I said, the other match coming on today is Brighton and Newcastle. I'll keep you up to date with the scores of that one as that game goes on. That's just kicked off as well the last couple of minutes. And thank you, by the way, to everybody who has subscribed as well to the channel. We've had a hell of a lot of brand new subscribers and people joining the channel. And honestly, big thank you to everybody who has joined on the channel. It's greatly, greatly appreciated, of course. And if you are new, do leave a like and a follow, because even after this season, we've still got plenty more stuff to come, of course. In August time, in about a week or two, we have the Champions League, which is very, very exciting indeed. But we're going to have our first opportunity here for Sheffield United. The ball bobbling around the Everton backline, and David McGoldrick just trying to sneak in there. Maybe have a quick opportunity on goal. Jordan Pickford, of course, coming out and claiming the ball, but it's going to be an interesting game, this one. You know, if any team has to go for it, it is Sheffield United. Of course, the pressure not really on Everton whatsoever now. It's just a case of pride and trying to pick up as many points as you possibly can. Well, for Sheffield United, they've got another big fixture coming up, of course, the last games of the season, which is on Sunday at 4 o'clock. So there is that, and they just need to go and win today. I've got beer stocked up for Wednesday, trophy presentation up the Reds. Yeah, not too long away before your big fireworks show and your presentation on Wednesday night. Looking forward to it, I bet, indeed. But 4 minutes is this. Sheffield United, I've got to say, probably the better looking side right now, kind of just holding the ball and bit of pressure on them right now. Actually really pushed their George Baldock all the way back. And Everton just getting a bit of a cheap throw-in a decent position here to kind of make something of this. But not really good at all. And actually, the linesman's giving it as a Sheffield United throw-in, not an Everton throw-in. So a little bit lucky there, because the pressure was on, of course, the front two today of Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. They do need to start firing, of course. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, more than anything, is the one that needs to start bagging a couple more goals here and there, because to be honest, Calvert-Lewin has been a little bit disappointing, I'm not going to lie, in recent weeks. We had his kind of build-up when Duncan Ferguson was in charge in the caretaker role, and he started to shine there. And of course, since the break, he's not really had a great deal of performances to scream and shout about. As for Richarlison, picked up a couple of goals here and there over the last couple of weeks, but nothing really, once again, to scream and shout about. So hopefully these two can get firing before the end. Only 2 more games to go, though, so it's not necessarily going to be an all-out frenzy for goals. But we're 5 minutes into this one. Chris Wilder just shouting his players on. He'll want a good start today. His overlapping centre-backs, which at the beginning of the season, and even before that, you'd have said it's absolutely crazy to have centre-backs bombing up the field. And it's one of those kind of tactics where, even though everybody knows what the tactic is, it's impossible to be able to adapt a role to it. And I tell you what, Jordan Pickford is a very, very lucky man there, because once again, David McGoldrick was really, really close to the England goalkeeper, and he was about to take the, not the goal kick, but the ball was kind of passed back to him, and he was going to hoof it up the field. McGoldrick was right next to him, and I tell you what, one connection there, I think that would have gone straight into the back of the net. But David McGoldrick here is looking very, very dangerous, and there was actually a penalty shout a couple of moments ago here. Michael Keane, a little bit of pressure on McGoldrick, kind of holding him back, and a couple of Sheffield United players here just requesting potentially for a penalty, but the referee doesn't give anything, and the game goes on. But as I said, Sheffield United looking the better of the two sides. Carlo Ancelotti kind of looking like now on the touchline, a little bit mafia-like with his suit on today. Kind of looks tired as well, but I guess everybody's going to be tired. It's been a long season. You know, of course, his season actually started out in Napoli last year. Now in the Premier League with Everton. It's been crazy to think that he's been there now for nearly 6 months. Of course, not had a great deal of games since he's joined, of course, with that coronavirus break. So it'll be interesting to see how they do next season. Thoughts on Nigel Pearson being sacked, sacking Watford at it again? It's crazy. It's crazy. I'd have understood if he was sacked at the end of the season, or just mutually left. But to sack him with 2 games left, I feel is really, really harsh, because the thing is with Watford is they are that type of club where they don't keep managers for a great deal of time, and you know, sackings now, it kind of has become a usual thing for them. But if they'll just let him play the 2 games out, I think they've got Arsenal and City. So let's be real, Watford pretty much, it's going to be tough for them, but they should stay up. Let's be honest. It's going to take a lot for Bournemouth and Villa to somehow stay up at this stage of the season. And if they do, then fair play to them. It'd be a great, great escape this late on. But for a team like Watford, they should be safe now. If you wanted to move on to greener pastures, then do it at the end of the season when there's 2 games. Not when there's 2 games left. Let Nigel Pearson have that last 2 games, because he's considering the position where Watford were a couple of months ago. You know, they were on like 9 points when I think Javier Gracia was there, and then all the stuff went on and they just weren't going anywhere as a club, and he came in, got none of the points, and yeah, he's not the great style of football, isn't it? Let's be real, under Nigel Pearson, and the results that they've got, they're not spellbinding, do you know what I mean? They're not like shocking attacking club, do you know what I mean? They are a very, very defensive team, and very organised, but in a good way. They're not going to go all guns blazing at you, especially when they need the points. And the Liverpool 3-0 win will be, of course, their best result of the season in terms of what it did for them. And it really was pretty much a catalyst for getting more and more points as the season went on. But just give him till the end of the season. It's absolutely mental. Who will win? Welcome into the stream, special topics. I didn't actually make my score prediction. I think Sheffield United's going to win 2-1. But talking about them now, they're on the attack. Good opportunity maybe to open the scoring here. It's a ball whipped into the box by Ben Osborne. And the Everton players just a little bit cautious of clearing it right now. It's come back to Sheffield United once again. They're right on the edge of the Everton box here. Might be an opportunity to cross this in. Sander Berg going up against Tom Davies. And he's been able to keep it out for an Everton goal kick. Not too bad there from the England midfielder. Of course, hasn't really had many international appearances because he's not really that good, let's be real. Not to be harsh, I think most Everton fans will agree that a player like Tom Davies isn't necessarily dead wood, but for a team like Everton, if you want to build on, Tom Davies is not the way to go to have him as a starting midfielder. Someone like Andre Gomez is alright, he's a good named player, he's played at Barcelona, he's good on his day. And I think for Andre Gomez to get better, he needs another great midfielder partner next to him. And there's been players like Allen of Napoli linked to the club, and it'd be a great deal for Everton if they can get a player like that in. But there's a lot of dead wood at Everton that needs to go, and we've already seen a lot of stuff going on at the club with players leaving. Of course, deadwood like Oumar Niasse leaving on a free, Stekelenburg moving to Ajax, a couple of other players like that moving on. So it'll be interesting to see what Everton do next season, because if Ancelotti gets some cash, we talked about it on our podcast, which we do on a Wednesday, which if you haven't seen, by the way, really, really worth watching. We're doing our last podcast of the 19-20 season on Wednesday. We said because Ancelotti's a big name manager, he will have pulling power to get some decent named players in. And, we're not talking big named players, but players that are big, like have big name, but maybe have kind of dropped off a little. So the likes of James Rodriguez, is it a realistic Everton signing? Probably not. But could Ancelotti pull it off? He's the type of manager that I think that could. Getting someone like James Rodriguez to Everton. I don't think it will happen. I think he'll go elsewhere, but it wouldn't surprise me if a player like James Rodriguez went there because of a manager like Ancelotti. Welcome in, Chloe. Yeah, it's a good point. Of course, Leeds getting promoted to the Premier League as well. It'd be great to see them in the Premier League next season. Once again, I am a Rotherham supporter, so technically I should be saying fucking shame on them for going up. But I don't mind it. I think it's good for the Premier League to have Leeds back in. But the most important thing, and I've said it multiple times before, we talk about it when I do my Twitch streams and things like that. The most important thing for Leeds is the spending in the market and who they bring in. But there's a corner here for Sheffield United. It's whipped in, doesn't reach anyone's head there, but it's come out into the path of, I think that's Baldock, into O'Connell, now former Goldrick, who's right on the edge of the box here, trying to get it whipped in O'Connell to any player in the box, but unfortunately it goes straight into the hands of Jordan Pickford. And 12 minutes in, I've got to say, Everton have looked really, really poor in this first 12 minutes. Sheffield United doing what they do best, overlapping centre-backs, bombing forward, and they've been a real problem for them so far. Question is, of course, can they nick the 3 points? Because they bloody do need it today, the Blades. As for the other game right now, Brighton 0, Newcastle 0. There's not really much going on in that game. There's been a shot on target by Brighton, but in terms of the possession, and that's 70% possession right now for Brighton in that match. So pretty hectic in that game for Newcastle. They've got a lot of work to do if they want to nick the 3 points in that match. Of course, that is the other 6 o'clock kickoff today. There is other games going on tonight as well. The other match is Wolves versus Crystal Palace. Once again, they will be watching on with this game, hopefully, praying that Sheffield United can drop points, because if Wolves can win tonight, they might not get the top 4 spot. But I think they're out of the top 4 race, actually, to be fair. But they do need to win, of course, to get a European spot. But once again, Everton really on the back foot here. Sheffield United bombing forward, and Jordan Pickford has just made a really good save. I actually missed it because I was looking at the Newcastle result, but it was from a free kick, and the free kick was probably going to go wide, I'm not going to lie, but still made the save. And Sheffield United, once again with another corner here. This could be a great opportunity for the Blades to take the lead, of course. It'd be nice and early in this match, the first 15 minutes, they will desperately want to get the first goal in this. So Norwood is going to whip it into the box for the near post. It's gone right to the back post, and I'm talking, there is one player just stood right there. It's a quality cross from Norwood. But I think it was O'Connell at the back post, and he tries to get a little touch on the ball, but by the time he tries to get a flick on, it's out of play. And very nearly could have gone into the back of the net had O'Connell got a slight touch on the ball. And Everton here, they've got a lot of work to do, really on the back foot, and it's a worrying sign for them. I think a lot of Everton fans, and I keep saying it, if there's any Everton fans in here, maybe you'll agree, but the kind of choice of lineups and tactics from Ancelotti in this last couple of weeks has been really disappointing. Of course, a lot of fans actually coming out today and asking, where's Moise Kean? He, of course, is out injured right now, so unfortunately he can't play. And whether he plays again next season for Everton or not, I don't know, because I bloody love Moise Kean. He's a great player on his day, and we saw him in Italy at Juventus banging in the goals, but ever since he's come to the Premier League, that dream kind of signing of moving to England hasn't really worked out as well as you wanted it to. Is the guy going to show gameplay? I can't show gameplay of the match, Domas. Welcome to the stream, by the way. The only reason why I can't show the actual match is because of copyright. But if you do want to watch the game and you want to watch the watch-along at the same time, if you're in the UK, you can access the match via Amazon Prime. Of course, you can sign up for free, make an account for free, get the kind of 3-month subscription, watch the game, and then afterwards you can cancel it and not even pay a penny. But I can't show the actual match, unfortunately, Domas. So I know there'll be a lot of people popping in and out thinking that it's the actual game that's being shown in here, but that's why I've put in the title. It's a live football watch-along, because I don't want people kind of getting clickbaited, do you know what I mean, and thinking it's the actual live match that's being showed. Because, yeah, it's not exactly nice, is it, clickbait? The amount of times when you've tried to get a definitely legal stream for a match and you've kind of scouted YouTube and seen people who said they've got the match and they don't, it gets so infuriating. So that's why I've kind of changed the title up for you. But if you do enjoy your watch-alongs, then I would greatly appreciate it if you do leave a follow and a subscription, of course. We've got plenty more watch-alongs to come in the near future. If you are a fan of the Europa League and the Champions League, of course, you'll be aware in the next couple of weeks the Champions League and Europa League is coming back. We are going to be live streaming every single Champions League and Europa League match. That's right, every last match that's on, we're going to be streaming it live. So when there's 2 games on a night, there is going to be a whole host of us. We're going to try and get some extra people along as well, some different special guests on at the side as well from some of our other podcasts as well to join us. And we'll have our watch-alongs going on for those games, because I know a lot of you might not have BT Sport, because, let's be real, it's so annoying when BT Sport don't let you watch the games for free. So keep your eyes out for that in August, but that is a couple of weeks away. Let's get back to this match right now. 17 minutes into this. Sheffield United 0, Everton 0, and the away side just starting to get a little bit of possession here. It's kind of been their first major spell of having the ball, and of course, if they can get a nice early goal here in this game to really rock the Blades, then it's going to make their day even more tricky at Bramall Lane right now. And talking about an opportunity, Tom Davies is bombing forward. Good chance here for Gylfi Sigurdsson maybe to whip this into the box. It's to Richarlison, who tries to whip it into the box to the path of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but he can't get his head onto it, and it's going out of play for an Everton throw-in. But again, a little bit of a spell of possession there. Thank you for that. Unfortunately, I'm not in the UK. Unlucky, Domas. Hopefully you can find somewhere to watch it if you are wanting to watch the game. Fingers crossed for you, buddy. I know a lot of us do try and watch perfectly legal streams. Legal streams. I used to be the same quite a bit. But of course, in the UK, we've got the luxury of Amazon Prime right now for this match, so it's not too bad at all. But 18 minutes in. Got a throw in here for Everton, just a little bit forward from the halfway line. Just kind of looking at Theo Walcott right now, who certainly is one of those kind of players you kind of look and think he's a bit of an Everton outcast. Hasn't had a great deal of games in recent months until now. Got an equalising goal not too long ago. I think it was actually the game against Villa. They were 1-0 down. Villa looked like they were going to go and win it, and then Theo Walcott equalised late on in that game. And of course, as you would expect, he's back in the lineup today. But kind of looking at the stats right now, 62% possession for Everton, 38% for Sheffield United, which is what you would expect, to be real. Sheffield United not tending to usually be a club that has a lot of possession on the ball, although that game against Chelsea a couple of weeks ago was kind of a bit of a different match where Sheffield United had plenty of possession, but Everton on the attack here. Good opportunity to take a shot on goal, and well, that's the first big opportunity of the game. It comes out into the path of Luca Digne, the French left-back. They've still got a chance to whip this into the box on the far left-hand side, and Tom Davies decides to pass the ball back, and a good opportunity there. I actually do think that was Theo Walcott. Very, very awkward angle. Was on the far right-hand side, a little bit close to the post to be able to shoot and get that shot on target. But it was very, very close to maybe hitting the post and going off the inside, but it goes wide, and of course, first real major opportunity of the game for the away side. Here comes Sheffield United, though, trying to counter-attack. The overlapping centre-backs bombing forward. McGoldrick lofting it long to the left-hand side and lofting it a little bit too long to the left-hand side into the path of Ender Stevens, because it goes out of play altogether. But just looking back at the opportunity here, kind of 20 minutes in, first major chance for both sides. Theo Walcott, it's a really, really awkward angle for him to take the shot, and I'm talking he's really close to the to where the post is in terms of where he's shot, and it's a shot that goes straight on, and it's not really going to go into the back of the net there. But it's a good chance, and of course it's the first chance of the game for Everton right now, which they so desperately needed to have just to get them into the game. And it does look like now in this last couple of 2 or kind of 3 minutes, they've started to get a bit of a foothold in this match, which is what they need. As I said, they're not playing for anything now in the Premier League. It is all done for them this season. Of course, they are 12th in the league. They can potentially finish in 11th place. Of course, if they do win this game and Southampton drop points on the final day and Everton win, then they can finish 11th. But that is about as good as it gets, I think, in terms of a finishing spot. I don't think they can get into 10th spot here, unfortunately. As for Sheffield United, a win today will put them 7th. It does then put the pressure on Wolves, so it is really all to play for today for those European spots. Of course, the other game going on, as I said, is Brighton and Newcastle. Still 0-0 in that one. Still 70% possession for Brighton. A couple of shots for them either side, but nothing to talk about in that game as of yet. So I'll keep your eyes out for that, just in case there is anything else going on in that match. Everton coming forward here again. Of course, very, very sunny right now in the UK. Very sunny in Sheffield, which I only live about 20 minutes away from. So, of course, it's very sunny outside. And it's very warm today as well. It's very musty and warm. It's very nice. Dean Henderson wearing a cap today because, of course, the sun is directly into his eyes. It's very, very hard right now to see. Bless him. But he's going for it. Of course, the Everton goalkeeper. Man U goalkeeper is what I wanted to say. Manchester United last night. What did you think about that result for anybody in the chat? Very, very poor game for Manchester United. And the question I want to ask you guys is, do you potentially see Dean Henderson having a start at Manchester United next season, or do you think he will kind of go out on loan elsewhere? Because he's been great for Sheffield United this season. He was great for them last season. And of course, De Gea kind of having a couple of mistakes in these last couple of months and weeks. Could Dean Henderson maybe go back to Manchester United and start getting a run out at the club? Personally, to answer my own question, I think he should go out on loan again and keep kind of developing as a goalkeeper. In fact, I'd probably send him back to Sheffield United and keep that good partnership going. You know, he's been so good there. If he's not going to play, then send him back there. But I'm interested to hear your opinions of it right now, because I think there'll be contrasting opinions in the chat on whether you think De Gea will start or Dean Henderson does start to get an opportunity at Manchester United. But we're about nearly 25 minutes into this one. Sheffield United on the attack. On the far left-hand side of the field, Jack O'Connell to the far left-hand side, of course, the centre-back so far up the field. It's so beautiful to see. You know, when the centre-backs go pushing up, it's great to see them. As I said, you just don't see tactics like this at any other club. It's the equivalent of the Iron Robben situation where you know he's going to cut in onto his weaker foot, but somehow he's able to still always do it. It's mad. It's absolutely mad, and that's what it's been like for Sheffield United in terms of the overlapping centre-backs. But we're going into a drinks break now. 24 minutes in, of course. On a day like this, the drinks break absolutely needs to take effect. It is really warm and very musty today in Sheffield. So 0-0 as it currently stands. Everton getting back into the game a little bit. Of course, Sheffield United in that first kind of 15 minutes really going for it and doing quite well. But that opportunity from Phil Walcott just looks like it's kind of lifted this game up very slightly. And kind of put them in a great position, maybe, to try and nick some points in this game. Jordan Pickford having a bit of a drinks break there. He's had to make one or two decent reactionary saves right now. Of course, there was that corner which could have gone into the back of the net from Oliver Norwood. But apart from that, he's not had any kind of shots directly being smashed into him. It's been kind of set pieces right now and crosses going into the box that have just needed pushing over. But the game starts up again. We are back into it. Can we potentially see a goal in this match? I don't know why my timer has gone a little bit far behind right now. I'm just going to very quickly stop it here and get it back up to the actual time of the game. There we go. So it should be up to the time. I don't know why it's a little bit slower than the match right now. There we go. Back to it again. But it's been an interesting start. I wouldn't say it's necessarily been a lively game of football. Not many opportunities to talk about. It's a very cagey affair, and once again, as I said, you expect it to be a cagey affair because Sheffield United have got to go for it, and there's no pressure on Everton at all. You know, at the end of the day, Ancelotti will want to get a win because his side are 3 games without a win. I think, in fact, they've actually drawn the last 3 games, so they do need to try and get back to winning ways before the end of the season. And even a point today would probably not be good enough for Sheffield United. Of course, they'd have to then rely on Wolves dropping some points elsewhere. But talking about Sheffield United, they're on the attack here. Ollie McBurney right on the edge of the box on the far left-hand side. Whipped in by Jack O'Connell, and there's no one there to get the ball. And McGoldrick does get a touch, and it will go out of play for an Everton goal kick. And well, David McGoldrick has looked very lively in his first kind of 25 minutes. Of course, got his first 2 Premier League goals of the season and of his career against Chelsea in that big 3-0 win a couple of weeks ago. He'll be wanting to try and get maybe 1 or 2 more goals before the end, of course. The final games of the Premier League are this Sunday. And just talking about that while the goal kick is taken, keep your eyes out on Sunday, because we are going to be live on Sunday on the Sports Corner. Very, very big show for us. The last games of the Premier League season, if you can't have access to them, we're going to be covering every single game live. We're going to have some special guests as well. We might get a couple of our very special viewers, some of our regulars, actually on the show too, to kind of talk about their teams and their seasons. So keep your eyes out. That's going to be Sunday. We'll be live about 3:30, 3:45. The games do kick off at 4 p.m. UK time. There's going to be pretty much the whole team we're trying to get pretty much involved for what is our last kind of watch along of the 19 to 20 seasons in Europe. Of course, the Premier League coming towards the end at the end of this week on Sunday. So keep your eyes out for that. We'll be covering every game, every match. That is on Sunday. It'll be really good fun, of course. It's kind of like a party as well for us. A bit of a celebration that the season is pretty much over. But we're 28 minutes into this. It's been a little bit slow since that drinks break. Kind of just looking at Chris Wilder right now, who doesn't seem majorly pleased with his side. I think he'll probably be hoping that his home team can go 1-0 up before half-time at Bramall Lane. Put the pressure on Everton to really come out in that second half. As I said, they're just kind of showing the table right now. 55 points they've currently got. A win would put them onto 57 points into 7th place, and only 1 point behind Tottenham, which is very important, because if Chelsea do win the FA Cup, we could see a European spot go down to 7th place this season. Of course, if Arsenal win, then it's very likely it won't go down, because Arsenal aren't going to get European football, it looks like, at this rate, because they've got... How many points are Arsenal actually on? Let me have a quick check. Let's have a quick gander while there's a play down here. So Arsenal are on 53 points. So technically speaking, they could actually nick a European spot late on here. They've got 2 games left to play, but it'll be a lot of work for Arsenal to do so, to try and get a European spot. But right now, Sanderberg's just gone down. Bit of a collision there with Richarlison going for a ball on the header. Richarlison was also down as well. He's just got back up onto his feet. Sanderberg, both players okay. But what a signing he's been. We talked about him right at the start of the show. Sanderberg, fantastic player. Really great signing. You know, came from Belgium, young prospect. I think if you're a big fan of Football Manager, you'll have known about Sanderberg for many years now. Great player. And a big money signing for Sheffield United. You've got to remember they spent, about 15 to 20 million on him, which for a young prospect as he is a great deal. And since he's come to the club, he's been absolutely fantastic. And he's one of those players that has just fit into the Chris Wilder tactics so perfectly that it just feels like any player Chris Wilder gets just seems to work. And I know there'll be a lot of Sheffield United fans probably screaming at me and saying, well, actually, there's quite a few that haven't worked. You know, the likes of Ravel Morrison at Middlesbrough, who has actually just come back to Sheffield United from his loan deal. We've got a corner here for Sheffield United, by the way. Lobbed into the box by Ollie Norwood from the left-hand side. Doesn't get to anyone. And Everton have got a good chance to counter-attack here. Theo Walcott bombing forward. But Ben Osborne takes him down. And, of course, a free kick is given there. And pretty much Osborne had to do that. You know what Theo Walcott's like. He's getting on with age. The England former international player, ex-Arsenal man. But he's still got a bit of pace about him. And the one thing you don't want to do is let Theo Walcott get on a counter-attack, because he's got pace to burn. Even as he gets towards his... I think he's about 31 now, isn't he, Walcott? I think off the top of my head. Maybe he's older. Somebody tell me how old Walcott is. I think he's 31. Maybe he's younger and he's like 29 or 30, but of course he's got plenty of pace, as I said, to burn, and he's taken down there. So they've got a free kick. As I said, he scored in that previous game against Aston Villa. Could he maybe score today? And Richarlison not happy with that previous opportunity there when Osborne took him down. I mean, they were kind of just looking at the replay there and potentially showing Walcott actually kind of get a bit of contact on Osborne before he goes down, kind of pushing a shoulder into him, but nothing's come from that. I think maybe it might have been checked by VAR, but play is on, no cards given out there, and it goes to Jordan Pickford, which he's absolutely bombed that out of play. Where's the stash? It's gone. It's gone. Where's KD or KL? They can't. They're not in the building today. KD hasn't got Amazon, and yeah, it's just me for this one, but it's all right. Decent game. This one so far, 0-0 as it currently stands. Oh wow, there's a lot of people in here, by the way. Thank you very much for joining, boys and girls, of course. Thank you, Sidan. Thank you very much for joining the stream. Hope you're all good. Sidhan Nalgundoir, thank you very much for joining. Hope you're all good. And for everybody that has joined, thanks so much. Greatly appreciated. I've been doing a lot of watch-alongs recently. They've been going really, really well. So it's great to see new faces. And of course, as always, if you are new, do leave a subscription because we've got more watch-alongs to come. But we've got about, I would say, maybe 15 minutes, maybe a little bit less of this game. Of course, 13 minutes of normal time with a little bit of additional time added on. Of course, the drinks breaks will come into effect. Sheffield United 0, Everton 0. If you haven't seen the first half an hour of this match, you haven't really missed a great deal at all so far. A couple of decent opportunities here and there for either side. Everton probably had the best opportunity of the game so far from Theo Walcott, but I wouldn't really say any of these sides have had major opportunities on goal. But we are going to get our first yellow card coming out here. And it is going to go to, I think Tom Davies has just gone into the book for a tackle on Ollie McBurney. The Scottish striker goes down, and Tom Davies, who, as I said before, in my opinion, is a bit of Everton deadweight, goes into the book. And I tell you what, I don't know if he actually gets any contact on the ball there. He just completely tackles the Scottish striker right from behind. And he might be very, very lucky there that that's not a red card. Now, I can't clearly see well whether there was a connection with the ball or not. Maybe he did get a slight touch on the ball, but he's been given a yellow card either way. And that's the first player to go into the book in the match today. Looks like Wolves v Palace be on the game with goals in the matches tonight. Well, it looks like it, because I said the other game that's going on right now is Brighton v Newcastle. Still 0-0 in that one. Brighton absolutely dominating possession-wise, but haven't scored as of yet so far. Sidhan, what's your top 4 prediction? I think it's going to be Liverpool, City, Chelsea and United. I do think Leicester will drop out, to be honest. I think last game of the season, I think United will win it, which of course it's going to be a great way to end the season. I'm looking forward to our final day of the season watch along. But we've got an opportunity here, right from the edge of the box. A corner whipped in. Baldock there trying to hit it on the half volley. Stevens trying to hit it on the half volley there, but clips it a little bit too high away from the goal. Welcome to the stream. Jai Pinlin just joined the watch along. How's the match so far? If I'm being honest with you, not been an enthralling game of football. Not been really any major chances from either side so far. In fact, there's not even been a shot on target yet. One shot from either side, and we really are just waiting for an opportunity to get this game alight. Of course, Sheffield United, as I said before, they've got to go out and win this game. And right now, I don't think either side looks like they are going to win it with the way that's been played in the first 35 minutes. Not been the most enticing and enthralling matches so far. Sit down if you love the darts. Hey, I'll be watching it again soon, Chris. I'm looking forward to it all. Hopefully Leicester make top 4 instead of the scum. I just think Man United will do it at the end. I know they had that loss against Chelsea at the weekend, which was a really, really shoddy result, let's be real. Very poor, and, well, all I'm going to say is Sergio Romero must be looking on and think, what do I have to do to eventually get a game? Because I think had Romero been in net, it would have been a very, very different, not necessarily a different game, but there'd have been a couple of goals in that match that wouldn't have gone into the back of the net. But as of right now, 35 minutes into this one, just at the halfway line, the ball is bobbling about. Sheffield United on the attack here, trying to loft it towards Ender Stevens, formerly of Portsmouth, the Irish fullback. And when you look at Sheffield United's team on paper, isn't it crazy to think that, you know, I could put my hands up as well, and I think there's other Sheffield United fans out there and people that predicted saying that Sheffield United would go down. I didn't necessarily think they'd go down, but I thought they'd struggle. And being from, the Sheffield area, the South Yorkshire kind of part where, near Bramall Lane and stuff like that, it's... I've got a couple of Sheffield United friends and that, and even they thought that it was going to be not necessarily a season where they go down, but a season where it would be very, very tough for them to grind out results. But they've done what they've needed to this season. Incredible, incredible feat. And a question for you guys in the chat, for those of you watching, who would you say is your manager of the year in the Premier League? Would you give it to Klopp for Liverpool's incredible run with the title, or would you give it to Chris Wilder? Or maybe you might give it to someone else. I don't know, maybe some of you might say Ole at Manchester United. You might say Lampard for what he's done at Chelsea this season, or you might even say Nuno. But I'll find out what you guys say in a moment. We have got a corner here. Surprise, surprise. It is to Sheffield United. Ollie Norwood going to whip this in from the right-hand side. Lofted into the box from the Northern Irishman. Once again, no connection from any Sheffield United players. And it does go into the hands of Jordan Pickford, who tries to hit it straight away into the path of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But good defending from O'Connell, because if he wasn't there, I tell you what, that was going to go straight to Dominic Calvert-Lewin there, and he had a great opportunity to go through on goal. It's been a very, very stop-start game, this. A lot of fouls and throw-ins. It's not really the most enthralling game to watch. But let's have a look at your comments. See what you guys are saying right now in terms of the Manager of the Year award. Zidane, Sheffield deserve European football, and of course, another person who deserves absolutely a shout for Manager of the Year is indeed Brendan Rodgers, of course, getting them up to kind of third place this season. Of course, they've dropped off a little bit towards the end now, which is a shame to see for them. But they will still get European football, and either way, it's a big, big thing for Leicester to try and build on. Of course, they had that Champions League run not too long ago in the last couple of years after that title win. But we've got a good chance here for Everton coming through on goal, and well, very good opportunity there for Richarlison to get through. But Chris Basham, spot on with the sliding tackle in the box, and he's absolutely fuming with his back line there, just questioning the likes of O'Connell and Egan why Richarlison's getting that much space to go through on goal. And what a player he's been this season, Chris Basham. Absolutely outstanding for Sheffield United. Probably I would say their player of the season for me, and I think a lot of Sheffield United fans will certainly agree with how well he's been this season. Chris Welch has put my top three in any order would be Klopp, Wilder and Lampard. Rodgers, good outside shot. Yeah, I think it'll be between Klopp or Wilder. And we've kind of had conversations about this before, and I think if you're a Liverpool fan, if Wilder gets it, I think most Liverpool fans will probably look at it and put their hands up and say, do you know what? He's had such a good season, that fair play, he deserves it. But then, another way, it looks a little bit harsh on Klopp for what he's done with the club this season. But then I think at the same time, if Klopp gets it, I think Sheffield United fans at the same time will be like, well, he's done really, really well this season. So, we'll put our hands up and agree with it as well. So, it will be interesting to see what happens there. And talking about awards as well, there was a bit of a foul from Andre Gomez on David McGoldrick. And then he absolutely pushes over Sander Berg. Just kind of drops off and pushes two players over in the process there, Andre Gomez. Surprised he's not gone into the book for that. But Ballon d'Or award as well has been cancelled this year. Taking the set piece free kick from about 25, 30 yards out, and they're not happy with the referee right now. Absolutely fuming because George Bordock has gone to cross that in. One of the Everton players has gone bombing forward before it's even taken. Obviously clips the ball onto his back, tries to run on for the ball, and the referee doesn't bring it back for the free kick once again, which is a bit of a questionable decision. But play goes on. 5 more minutes before half-time. If you wanted to stream, it'd be greatly appreciated if you do leave a follow. There's a hell of a lot of you in here. Welcome to you all. Sorry about the game not being the best of quality right now. As I said, if you have just joined, it's not been the most enthralling of affairs. Let's be real. But it is right now. Sheffield United 0. Everton 0. And there we go. First opportunity of the game. That is a great, great chance at goal. Jordan Pickford making a good save there. That was a decent opportunity. I think that was Sander Berg there. Just inside of the box on the right-hand side, taking on the opportunity. But Jordan Pickford having to make the save. Just see this opportunity once again here. David McGoldrick just on the edge of the box. Lays it off into the path of, I think that's actually Ollie Norwood that takes the shot on. Good chance. And it wasn't going to go into the goal once again, but once again Pickford makes the save. He absolutely has to. And he keeps moving on, of course. I think he's made 2 or 3 saves in this match so far. And my camera's gone. For fuck's sake, give me 2 seconds, boys. Apologies about that. We deactivate it and reactivate it again. Does this a lot. Should be back any moment. Give me 2 seconds here, but you should be able to still hear me. But we've got 4 more minutes of this game. Sheffield United starting to really push a little bit more forward in this match. Are they going to nick an equaliser before... an opening goal before the first half ends? There we go, the camera's back now. All sorted. Thanks for putting that in the chat, boys. Greatly appreciated. Chris Williamson. Celtic. Of course, Celtic champions. Question is, can you do 10 in a row? Because that'll be an impressive feat in Scottish, of course. Jermaine Defoe coming out with the usual year comment of, we will stop Celtic from doing blank in a row. I think I saw something from the Celtic fans not too long ago where it was like, Defoe had said, we'll stop Celtic from doing 9 in a row. And then this year he said, we'll stop Celtic from doing 10 in a row. Something like that. Mad. Absolutely mad. But we've got a corner here. Everton, 42 minutes in. I think this is their might be the first corner of the game for them. Could this be the important set piece that puts Everton into the lead? It's 0-0 as it currently stands. In terms of the other game going on in the background right now in the Premier League between Brighton and Newcastle, that's currently 0-0. The corner's whipped in. Dean Henderson comes running out, punches it away. It comes back to Walcott. It's at the back post, and that is a great reactionary save there from Dean Henderson. Brilliant work, and this game has had a shot on target, which is good to see because it's been pretty poor so far. And Dean Henderson, well, he nearly made a vital mistake there. Proper costly mistake it could have been. It came back into the path of Theo Walcott, who had a great opportunity to loft it back into the box, and he did indeed loft it straight back into the path of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who has pretty much a point-blank range header to stick it into the back of the net. And somehow he's missed it. Just seeing that opportunity again. I don't know how he's missed it. I think it is just a genuine miss. And, well, Dominic Calvert-Lewin has got to be absolutely punching himself there to not put that into the back of the goal. I believe Lundstrom's to start. Yeah, I agree with you, Matt Tiger. Great player for them. And he's one of the guys, of course, that's been there since League One. Good chance now for Sheffield United. Loft into the box. And, well, if there's one person you want on that cross, it would be Ollie McBurney. Tries to get his head onto it, but he just can't. And Calvert-Lewin, really poor miss. As I said, Dean Henderson just giving the most perfect opportunity for Everton to go into the lead, and somehow it's not gone into the back of the net. In fact, I actually think it's just clipped the outside of the bar. Just going to see that opportunity again here. It has indeed just clipped the outside of the bar, and if you are watching the game on the side, you'll probably look at that chance and think, well, he's missed an absolute sitter there. 9 times out of 10, you would expect that to be in the back of the net. And I think Dean Henderson there can count himself very lucky that his punch from the corner hasn't just costed the Blades with a goal for Everton. But we've got 30 more seconds here. Then we'll have a bit of additional time. Did you also hear that loud bang? Don't worry, that's just Man United fans coming back to earth. Oh, God, don't start on them, Chris. Don't start on them. Oh, dear. You'll have the Man United fans after you. Sidhan, what's your next watch-along, mate? I think the next one we're doing is the Premier League final day. So that will be on Sunday, the final Premier League match day. We're going to have every game covered. It won't just be me as well. We'll have all of the Sports Corner team and some special guests as well. We're trying to get some special guests on. A couple of our fans, a couple of the viewers of the channel and that to kind of join and talk about their club seasons. But we're going to cover every game, every goal, every moment. That Sunday. We'll be live from about 3:30, 4:15. Kickoff is at 4 o'clock for those games. Another opportunity there for Sheffield United. But once again, it was a good chance from Ben Osborne to try and hit it on the volley into the back of the net, but it kind of bobbles, making it really awkward for him to hit that one, and it goes straight into the path of Jordan Pickford's hands. Slight deflection as well, I think, from Sidibe to put it into the English goalkeeper's hands there. But yeah, that'll be Sunday. Kick-off for those games is 4 o'clock, so keep your eyes out for that. And then, as I said, after that, in August time, we're going to be doing watch-alongs for every single Champions League and Europa League game. Whether it is a game between Istanbul and Copenhagen, or whether it's a big match between, Atletico Madrid and Leipzig. Every single match we'll be covering in August time. You don't want to miss it. Be very good, of course. I know a lot of people out there might not have access to those Champions League games, specifically in England, because of BT being an absolute mess and not letting people watch the games for free. We miss the days of ITV. If you live in England, you'll know the good old days when there was free matches to watch on ITV. You got Clyde Tilsley and Andy Townsend covering the games. I miss the good old days of that, because now it's a bloody nightmare to access them. You only get the final for free, and that's it now. You can remember back in the day, you used to get at least one group game a week available to watch, and now you don't at all. We're coming towards the end of the first half here. 2 minutes of additional time was added on. Ollie Norwood's just gone into the book. Of course, there'll be a little bit more time added on here because of his foul. Norwood not really happy there with the yellow card coming out. Richarlison just down. He's getting back up to his feet, though, of course. It'll be a little bit more of added time there with that incident. So we might have maybe 30 seconds added on, but it's been a very, very quiet first half indeed. Subscribe to you. Thank you so much, Sidan. You absolute legends. And for anybody else that subscribed as well, you are all absolute legends. I say it a lot, but a big thank you to everybody because we've had a hell of a lot of subscribers join recently. But we've got a free kick here for Everton just before the half finishes. Gylfi Sigurdsson going to loft this one into the box. He's a little bit too far out to hit that one. He lofts it in, but no Everton players can get onto it. And half-time is there, and I just realised I've accidentally left second half on. It isn't the second half. It was actually the first half. But half-time of this game, it is 0-0 in this match. And, well, to be quite frankly honest with you, it's not the most enthralling of games at all so far. Not a great deal of opportunities from either side. There was a decent chance a couple of minutes ago from Dominic Calvert-Lewin to potentially put Everton into the lead from a corner at the back post. You'd have expected him 9 times out of 10 to have connected with the ball and put it into the back of the net. He did connect with it, but he didn't put it into the back of the net. He, in fact, clipped to the bar and it went out. Didn't go out of play, it just bobbled away, and the opportunity went wide for Everton. As for Sheffield United, they've had 2 shots on target themselves, but nothing really to scream and shout about in this match. But it's 0-0 at half-time of this game, and there is still plenty more to come. Of course, Sheffield United do need to go out and win this game. It's crucial for them to get something if they want to get into Europe. As for the other match going on, as I said, there is another game going on in the Premier League today. 0-0 as well between Brighton and Newcastle. That is just about to go into half-time. Brighton have had 73% possession. Newcastle not had a single shot on target yet. So it looks pretty bad if you're a Newcastle fan right now in that game. But we've got half-time now, so if you want to chuck any questions and comments and thoughts about football my way, then we could talk a little bit about football for 15 minutes. I don't mind at all, of course. It'd be interesting to know what kind of clubs you all support as well. I know as Chris says he supports Celtic, Matt Tiger is a Man U fan, Sidan a Leicester fan, Chris a Liverpool fan. It's good to see the different fans of the clubs in the stream. But what I was thinking of trying to do at some point is I was going to try and do a couple of Serie A watch-alongs, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do those or not. But yeah, just looking at the news there, what Chris has put in the chat, of course, Chelsea in talks with Bayer Leverkusen. £70 million deal to sign Kai Havertz. And I know it says that there's no other clubs that are actually interested in paying the amount of money that Bayer Leverkusen want for the midfielder. But what a signing that would be for Chelsea. I mean, it's scary, isn't it, to think that next season they will have Timo Werner, Hakim Ziyech, and Kai Havertz. But the important thing, and I think most Chelsea fans will agree, is that they do need to sign defenders. Because it's all right, you can sign attackers and attacking midfielders and you can have a great attack. But if you've got a shit defence, 9 times out of 10 you're going to concede goals and yeah, you can score, but you're still going to have problems, let's be real, aren't you? Keeping control of your games. I mean, you've only got to look at Arsenal and how they play. Incredible attack. Aubameyang is quality on his day. Nicolas Pepe, for as much as people, take the piss out of him, he's a great bloody winger when he wants to be. And, of course, Lacazette, big name player, just hasn't done as much in the recent years as last year or so as you'd probably want him to. But when you've got a back line of the likes of David Luiz and Mustafi and that, they're all right, but they're not big players that are going to spur you on into Champions League and Europa League and football and things like that. Like, yes, Arsenal did win against Man City and Liverpool, but you can't sustain a defence like that. If you want to go to the upper echelons of Champions League and that, they're not going to work. Let's be real. You've got to go out and try and sign big players. But of course, most importantly, you need to be in the big competitions to do so. And if Chelsea can get themselves into the Champions League with a season where there isn't financial fair play in effect, I think we'll see Chelsea sign a couple more players in the next kind of coming months. Have Saudi Arabia taken Chelsea instead of Newcastle? Well, it looks like it. Feels like it right now. Of course, if you're a Newcastle fan, you're asking the question of where the hell is this takeover, because nothing is coming out of the club right now. They keep talking about, sponsorship deals that they've renewed and little things like that, but no news on that takeover as of yet. And if I was a Newcastle fan, I would be getting a little bit worried as to why nothing's come out of the club as of yet. But it does kind of feel like Chelsea have taken the Saudis to their club right now, doesn't it? With a lot of cash to spend, but if you're a Chelsea fan, you're going to be bloody looking forward to next season. It's not been a bad season. Could have been better to a certain extent, but you've got the likes of Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount kind of running the show right now. And then next season you're going to be watching the likes of Ziyech and Werner and potentially Havertz. It's bloody mental. It's crazy for them. Can anyone just tell Chelsea to calm down? Havertz, Werner, Ziyech, they are interested in arguably best keeper in the world, Oblak. But I agree, Chelsea need a keeper, centre-back and left-back. Well, the thing with the keeper, I don't think they'll get Oblak. I think Oblak will probably stay at Atletico Madrid for quite a long time. I can't see a player like Oblak leaving probably until Simeone was to leave. Oblak does kind of strike me, not as a one-club man, but as a very attached player to a manager type thing, where he would probably stay, for Simeone, but once Simeone left, maybe want to go to new greener pastures. Because let's be real, Atletico Madrid is still a bloody big club and they're in the Champions League next season. Unless Chelsea have got a big amount of cash to spend, it's going to be very, very hard to prize him away, because I'm pretty sure as well he signed a new contract recently, so he'll have a very hefty release clause if Chelsea are going to pay for it. But for a centre-back, they absolutely do need a centre-back. For a left-back, totally agree with you, they need a left-back as well. I mean, I've said it week after week after week on the podcast, which we do, which I'll talk about that in a little moment's time, that I'm very surprised that no club has gone in for Alex Telles yet, of Porto. Great left-back, outstanding on his day, yet nobody seems to have gone in to try and sign him. A player like that would be a great addition for a Spurs or a Chelsea, but no one's gone in for him yet, so it will be interesting to see what Chelsea do with left-backs, because I know apparently Emerson is supposed to be leaving the club as well. But enough of Chelsea. As I said, I was just going to very quickly talk about about the podcast that we do, plug some stuff very quickly before the second half does start. 0-0 right now in this game if you have just joined. Have you missed anything? No, it's been really, really kind of a bit of a dull game. It's only really started to properly kind of kick on in the last 5 minutes of the first half. But in terms of the other stuff we do on the channel, if you don't know kind of what the channel is about, we are the Sports Corner. We do plenty of stuff on here. We don't just do football. We've got a whole host of content. So every Tuesday, if you're a fan of WWE and wrestling, we have the Wrestling Corner with Simon and Rowan. Great podcast. Well worth keeping your eye out on. There's loads of things they talk about that. That's every Tuesday. On a Wednesday, we have our football podcast, which is the Top Corner. It's our last week of doing that podcast for the European seasons. So we've got one more podcast to do. That's on Wednesday. It's going to be a relaxed one. It's going to be a chill one. It's going to be kind of a bit of a celebration. We've been doing that podcast now for not nearly a year. We're getting close to a year, but I'd probably say about 8 or 9 months. But we've kind of done it now for kind of, the last 7 months straight, every Wednesday. And it's going to be our last one for the European League. So that's on Wednesday, 3 p.m. UK time. We do that one live, so you can always come and join us if you're free. We talk about European football, and it's always a good laugh. Usually, we fuck up at something every week. We usually mess up, and we just have a laugh on it and have good fun. On Thursday or Friday, it changes throughout the week. We have the NFL Corner. So if you are a fan of the NFL, of course, that is all coming back in the next coming months. Keep your eyes out on that. We have Will and Kieran with all of the latest in NFL on there. Good show. Good fun. And of course, as I said, the season does get underway very, very shortly. I think in September time. So do keep your eyes out for that indeed. And then we have other content coming as well. We've got our Watchalongs still going on. So on Sunday, keep your eyes out. If you can't get access to all of the Premier League games on Sunday. Of course, it's the last day of the season. Then we're going to be live. Special guests, the Sports Corner team. We're going to be covering every match, every game, every goal. We'll be live from about 3:30, 3:45. The games do kick off at 4 p.m. UK time, and we're just going to have a bit of a fun, bit of a party. And as I said, get some of you guys involved as well and kind of talk about your seasons in the Premier League. And then in August time, in a couple of weeks, the Champions League and the Europa League is back. Keep your eyes out for that. We're doing every game. We're going to have a watch-along for every single one. The great thing about it, you'll have a choice as well. Because what we'll do is there are some nights where there's 2 games on. There are going to be 2 live streams going. One for one game, one for another. So you will have access to any game you want to kind of have a watch-along of. We'll be live for it, so keep your eyes out for that. We'll have more news about that coming in the next kind of week or 2. But that's all the plug-in for now. I'm going to stop plugging stuff. There's plenty of content on here, as I said. Not just about football on here. Of course, when the season does end, we're still going to have plenty more content to come. We've got a brand new Premier League tier list show starting in the next couple of weeks. Kieran D from our football podcast, he's going to be doing that. Can't wait for that. Going to be good to see some of the interesting tier lists that they do and interesting viewpoints from some of our viewers and some of our kind of presenters on the podcasts. But keep your eyes out for that and all of the other content coming in the next couple of weeks. But we're at half-time of this game. We should be going about in the next kind of 5 minutes into the second half. It's Sheffield United 0, Everton 0. Sheffield United have had 2 shots on target, but not really 2 major opportunities on goal. Pickford's made a couple of saves here and there, but nothing really of a serious nature. Dean Henderson nearly made a big mistake and cost Sheffield United a goal and gave it to Everton. Dominic Calvert-Lewin at the back post should have scored. It should be 1-0 to Everton, but he missed and hit the outside of the post. And 9 times out of 10, if you were to put any striker in that position, they would have absolutely smashed the ball into the back of the net. But of course, that was the one time where they didn't. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I do have to say, has been a little bit quiet in this match so far. Very, very poor. Rewatch Wednesday podcast. Poor Kieran L got slaughtered about club he supports in a certain account. Made a random name on his account. Well, I tell you what, to give you guys a bit of context, Kieran L, one of our viewers, is a Hull City supporter. He was getting absolutely battered on our podcast on Wednesday from viewers. It will probably be the same again on Wednesday. Yeah. I'm going to wish him some luck. I'm going to have to pray for him because, he's probably going to get battered on Wednesday once again. But we made our score predictions at the start. I said this game was going to be 2-1 Sheffield United. I tell you what, we're probably going to be lucky at this rate if we do get a goal in this game. I don't think both sides have looked good at all in this match so far. I think if there was one team that's been better than the other, it probably would be Sheffield United. They've been alright, but I wouldn't say they've been anything special at all. I do think they've got a lot of work to do. Now remember, for any of you that have just joined, you're thinking, well, what's the importance of this game? Because, on paper it really doesn't look like an important match. The important thing today is that if Sheffield United do win this game, they will move up to 7th place. Of course, Wolves do play later on tonight against Palace. I think that is a 8:15 kickoff. Now, 7th place is still very, very important in the Premier League this season. Of course, we do have that FA Cup final between Chelsea and Arsenal. Now, if Arsenal win the final, then I don't think 7th place will get anything this season. It'll just go to 6th place. But if Chelsea win, they might have a European spot anyway. In fact, they will have a European spot anyway. It's just a case of whether it's the Champions League or the Europa League. And if Chelsea do win the FA Cup, then it does mean that will go down to 7th place, which means whoever gets 7th, which right now, currently, is between Spurs, Wolves, Sheffield United, and technically, Burnley could squeeze it in the last day, or Arsenal. It could be done. I mean, it's tricky for Burnley. They'd have to rely on Wolves and Sheffield United both losing and then winning, and Arsenal dropping points as well. So there are still a couple of light teams in it. But if Sheffield United do win today, of course, it puts the pressure on Wolves, who are playing at 8:15 tonight against Palace. So they do need to try and pick up every last point that they can, of course. They did lose 2-1 against Leicester in the previous week. Last coming days, actually, not week. So they do need to bounce back. And so far, they just don't look like they're bouncing back at all. But we should go into the second half in just a moment's time. Already ready to go. Have we got any more score predictions? Do we think it's still going to end 0-0 this one? I mean, if you're a Sheffield United fan or an Everton fan, definitely do tell us in the chat what you think of the first half right now. Because I tell you what, if I had a blanket and if I had a cushion next to me, which I do behind me, I should have probably just got into bed and gone to sleep, because that's kind of what the game has been a little bit like right now. It's not been the worst game, but it's not exactly been an enthralling match at all so far. But as I said, we've got 2 more Premier League games to go. Some games today, some games tomorrow as well. Keep your eyes out, because there are other great games going on. So tomorrow we've got a big game, 2 big games in fact. Watford, they're taking on Manchester City. Of course, Watford's still technically not safe, but they should be safe. And Aston Villa take on Arsenal. Villa need to win, or else they're pretty much down and out. Arsenal, they need to win as well if they want to try and somehow claw a European spot. And then on Wednesday night, Man United take on West Ham. Big game for Man United. They have to win that one. As for West Ham, they should be alright for survival. In fact, sorry, they should be safe now. No problem. And then the final game on Wednesday is Liverpool versus Chelsea. Liverpool been a little bit disappointing in recent weeks. They've got a big game against Chelsea, who need to win, of course. That top 4 race could go down to the last day of the season, which I'm not going to lie, I'm hoping it does. Just as a neutral kind of watcher, it makes it more exciting for me. But we are going back into the second half. The players are out on the field. We are ready and raring to go. Thank you to everybody that has joined back into the stream. Welcome one and all. And we're going to get underway. Carlo Ancelotti has now sorted his hair out. It looked like in the first half he just got out of bed. He looks a little bit more calm and composed. And the ball is about to get rolling in just a brief second. Sidant, are you from England? I'm indeed. I'm from nearby Sheffield. Of course, Sheffield United playing today. So I'm not too far away from Sheffield, so not too bad at all. But yeah, I am from England. Of course, it'd be great to hear as well where everybody else is from in the stream too. But we are now underway with the second half of this match. I will change that from half-time to the second half in a moment. I'm going to get the counter as well underway in a second. Sheffield United 0, Everton 0. And well, this is a big 45 minutes here today for Sheffield United, because if they don't win this game, I do personally think that that will be the end of their European hopes. Of course, they pretty much have to rely on Palace beating Wolves today, because even if Wolves were to draw, that would put them 2 points ahead of Sheffield United with only 1 game left, which would be very, very hard for them. Of course, Wolves do play Chelsea on the final day, though, when we've got an opportunity here, and just like that, Everton have taken the lead in this one, and Richarlison has just scored the goal, and we're not even a minute in, and now we literally are just a minute in, and tell you what, Ancelotti not celebrating at all, which, to be real, there's not really much to celebrate about this season for Everton, but Richarlison, from a set piece, a lovely weighted box ball into the box for Richarlison's head, is taken from about 40 yards out. I think Sigurdsson whips it in. Richarlison gets a head onto it, flicks it to the far right-hand side, and Dean Henderson just kind of looking at the opportunity back here. Could you say you could have saved it? I don't think you could. It's a great header from the Brazilian, and we're not even, well, we are now a minute in, and just like that, Sheffield United are 1-0 down. They've got it all to do, and Richarlison, who has been scoring a couple of goals in recent weeks, gets another one onto his tally, and it's Sheffield United 0, Everton 1, and well, this could be an important result in the European race, because as it stands, it would mean that Sheffield United wouldn't necessarily be out of that European race, but it would be very, very hard for them to get a European spot. Of course, losing, because if Wolves win tonight, they're going to be 3 points ahead of them, and Tottenham will be 2 points ahead of them on the final day. And what a start that is for Everton. As I said, really disappointing first half from both sides. Really poor, and they've come out with a fantastic free kick, a great ball in from Gylfi Sigurdsson. I think it was Sigurdsson who whipped it in, and an even better header from Richarlison. I was going to say maybe Dean Henderson could have saved it, but I think that's been really harsh. I think it's just an outstanding header from the Brazilian, and that is a quality goal, and Sheffield United have got to come out all gun blazing themselves now, and here they are on the counter-attack. Lovely ball whipped in by Basham, and an opportunity comes into the path of one of the forwards, I think it was. Oh no, shit, sorry, it was bloody Basham that was on the ball there, and Everton on a counter-attack here. Walcott trying to loft it into the path of Calvert-Lewin. Dean Henderson trying to get the ball, and oh, well, he's very lucky once again, because Richarlison could have had his second goal there. Bombing forward to the ball, and Dean Henderson's the quickest to get there and clear his lines, and Well, this is crunch time now for Sheffield United. They've got plenty of time to get back into it, but they could have pretty much been 2-0 down within the first 3 minutes of the second half. Richarlison looking very dangerous in this second half already. But Sheffield United, we know what they're like. We've seen them have comebacks before against some of the clubs. You know, they've had comebacks. I think the first game they played against Chelsea, they had a good comeback in that match. And other results elsewhere, they've picked up decent points. And, well, that's not one for the highlights reel there. I think that was Basham who actually dropped to the floor. And here comes Sheffield United once again on the attack. They've got to try and get an equaliser early into this game because they pretty much need the win. It's lofted into the box towards McGoldrick, who does get a shot on goal, and it's an outstanding defensive block there from Tom Davies. Good blocks. I think had he not got a touch on the ball there, I think that could have been a Sheffield United equaliser. Back at work tomorrow for me after a week off. They'd be shocked I've had a new haircut. I'd be like a new colleague. Well, I said I need a haircut myself. I'm dying to get one. I'm dying to get one at some point. Whenever I can. I do want to get one because it's been quite some time with the lockdown in the UK and that, so it'd be nice to get one sorted out. But let's keep going here. We're 49 minutes into it. If you've just joined the stream, big goal in the game for Everton. Richarlison with the opening goal just 1 minute into the second half of this fixture. Big goal it is indeed. As for the other game, Brighton and Newcastle, that has just kicked off for the second half. Once again, it is still 0-0 in that game. And with that goal, as it currently stands, Everton do move into 11th place on 49 points. They would go into 11th on goal difference. Southampton have -11. Everton have -10, both on the same point. So that is not too bad at all for Everton, of course. They can't get into the top 10 now, but it's of course, every point counts at this stage. It's all about pride for them. Sheffield United 0. One irrelevant club in Liverpool. Oh, God, you're now starting on the Everton fans as well. So that's the United fans and the Everton fans you've started on, and I've only been live for like an hour. Fucking hell. But yeah, no, Richarlison, it was a lovely header into the back of the net. And as I said, I think it's just very harsh if I said Dean Henderson should be saving it, because it's just a great header and a lovely cross whipped in from, I think he's got to be Gylfi Sigurdsson, who, you know, he's great at his set pieces. Of course, just needs to improve a couple of other things in his career. And sorry about the chair there, a little bit squeaky. Just a little bit squeaky there. And a couple of tackles now flying in. Bit of a tussle here between Luca Digne and Baldock. Digne not happy with a tackle that's gone in. The referee just bringing both the players together. I think there might be a booking for both. Kind of Luca Digne there just pushing Baldock. He's not really happy at all, but they're just having a quick talking to. Just having a look now. Yeah, I mean, he's got every right to go in for the ball there. Kind of come together twice. Baldock, one to try and get the ball, and the second one he tries to get the ball again. Luca Digne just pushing him. Richarlison trying to push Digne away as well, and well, the referee just kind of pulls them apart and gives a talking to. No booking though, which I guess would be a little bit harsh. Both players going in for the ball, and just trying to see if maybe Baldock's kicked out. And oh, well, that's just changed it up very slightly. Well, looking back at that there, George Baldock actually did stand on Digne's foot as he was getting up, and that looked like that was done with intention. And we've seen before in games in the Premier League where that's been given as a red card, and I don't think a card's been given at all. Amazon isn't showing any card that's been given, but I tell you what, he's a very lucky boy to have not got, you know, even a booking there, because as I said before, we've seen bookings this season where players have stood on others when they've done it, you know, kind of hoping that the referee won't see. And Baldock, I do think that could have been a sending off, you know, if somebody had seen that. And of course, VAR will have looked at it, and he's on the pitch, and play goes on. 52 minutes into this one, Sheffield United 0, Everton 1, and Sheffield United could have quite easily been down to 10 men. And well, what a disappointing way that would have been, you know. Not even 10 minutes into the second half, and there could be a goal down, and potentially could have been 10 men down. Down to 10 men, not 10 men down. Or else there'd only be one player on the pitch, which would be very impossible for the game to even be played. Here comes Sheffield United again on the counter-attack. Some just taking it a little bit slower now. I guess, as they always say, it's better to have you know, conceded a goal 1 minute into the second half than 1 minute towards the end of the second half. But now we've got an opportunity. Lobbed into the box by Enda Stevens, trying to get it towards Ollie McBurney, who I've got to say has been pretty quiet in this game so far. And The front two have been a little bit quiet. I would say McGoldrick's been the more lively of the two forwards right now. Ollie McBurney just needs to get himself into the game. As I said, we're a very classic striker in the way that he plays. Great at headers and things like that, but they do need to start getting some balls into him, because right now it just doesn't seem to be working for Sheffield United at all. Why did Dean Henderson and John Pickford wear caps? It's because of because the sun right now. It's really sunny in Sheffield, and the position where Jordan Pickford is currently where the net is, it's really, really sunny, so it's quite hard for them right now to see. So I know Dean Henderson was wearing a cap in the first half, and now Jordan Pickford is. But on the left-hand side where Dean Henderson playing, it's completely dark. The shadows are there, so the right-hand side is a little bit awkward right now in terms of the sun. But here comes Sheffield United on the attack again. Could we have an opportunity here for George Baldock to whip this into the box? He's trying to get at the back, and there's a scuffle, and well. Michael Keane, you are a very, very lucky boy, because George Baldock's cross went to the feet of Michael Keane, and he really didn't look comfortable there clearing that ball. He's just, kind of had a bit of a puff of the cheeks there. I think he just kind of knows what he did there, because I think that was David McGoldrick, who was really, really close to him. That could have got that into the back of the net, but just in the opportunity once again. Lofted into the box. Clearance away. He's kind of gone to back heel it, which is... I don't know what he's thinking there. To try and back heel it, it's so audacious. It clips off him, and McGoldrick wasn't too far away from trying to get that back into the back of the net, but John Pickford there claims the ball, and a little bit lucky, I've got to say. A little bit lucky there that maybe one of the Sheffield United players wasn't a little bit too further forward. Irrelevant club for LFC player on Wednesday. Oh, that's it. Bill's gone in for you now, Chris. You've got to take it. You've given it to the Everton and the Liverpool fans, Man U fans. You've got to take it now, Chris. No doubt he'll have a response at some point. And Beanie's going for it as well. Jesus Christ. Harry Maguire or Kaglasinku? The thing is with Maguire is he's a good centre-back on his day, but he's had little errors here and there. But no doubt, over time, those errors will start to kind of fall out. He'll get better over time. He's still quite young for a centre-back, isn't he? Kaglasinku, he's a great player on his day. I think I'd probably still go Maguire, but the only reason why I'd go for Maguire is I haven't seen enough of Kaglasinku to properly say anything. I mean, he's been outstanding this season for Leicester. Of course, he's dropped off a little bit with that red card towards the end, but if he can keep consistently playing at a good level, Sunchu, what's to say he can't become an incredible centre-back himself, because he's a good centre-back, and of course it'd be a great test for the Leicester players next season when they are in Europe, but I think it's same for Maguire as well. A couple of seasons for both of them, get a bit of consistency, and be interested to see how those players do in the future. But they're just looking back again at the goal. If you're wondering what where the goal came from, 1-0 to Everton right now. 10 minutes ago, it was actually 1 minute into the second half. Richarlison with a lovely header from a free kick to the far right-hand side of the goal. Dean Henderson was not going to be able to save that at all. In terms of the other game going on as well, Brighton is still 0-0 against Newcastle. Brighton still dominated, but no goals in that match as of yet. Everton and Man United fans, come back when you've won the Premier League, Club World Cup and Super Cup in the same season. My cup is empty. I'll cry my tears in cup for you all. Oh, well, that's it now. Beanie, we need a response from Beanie. We need a response from Bill. If they're in the building, response available. We like a bit of debate, and we like a bit of a battle in here, do you know what I mean? I like it when people butt heads. We like a bit of drama, do you know what I mean? It's all fun and games, isn't it? But 57 minutes in, as the table currently stands, Everton will stay in 8th place. Arsenal have got a game in hand, so they could go above them, and Sheffield United drop down into 9th place potentially. They're on the same points right now as Burnley. Of course, Burnley will be hoping actually that Sheffield United do drop points today, because it still means they will be potentially within a shout for a European position. Of course, if Sheffield United do pick up a win, it's going to be very hard. In fact, I think that will actually be the end of Burnley's season pretty much. But here come Everton again, a good opportunity taken at goal, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin with a good shot on target. Dean Henderson making a comfortable save, and it's punched away from the goal. And Everton looked very, very, very dangerous on the counter-attack, which I've got to say, the first half, they looked void of ideas for the first 15 or 20 minutes, and they come out in the second half, and they're really, really going for it right now, which is good to see. Sheffield United, I think, even in this first kind of 15 minutes, they've still got a lot of work to do, in my opinion. Haven't looked too convincing up top, and it wouldn't surprise me if Wilder does start making some changes very, very shortly. Of course, that rule of the 5 substitutes is still in play, and in fact will still be in play next season as well. So, I mean, I don't mind the 5 substitution rule. I think it's quite good, and of course 5 substitutions isn't too bad for the game. I know there'll be a lot of people out there complaining maybe about it too, but Sheffield United, an opportunity, whipped into the box there, and Ollie McBurney with a really, really good opportunity, point blank range to try and tap that into the back of the net. I think he's protesting here for a penalty. Not happy at all. He's gone down, and it's absolutely not a penalty. I think he's just gone down while he's trying to trying to take a bit of a chance on goal, and of course the referee waves any opportunity away. And in fact, it might be for a corner, I think, but looking at the opportunity from Calvert-Lewin a moment ago, as I said, he had a chance as well. Slight deflection from Jack O'Connell, which I think does help Dean Henderson a little bit. He punches it away, and good reactionary save from the England goalkeeper, of course, on loan from Manchester United, who will go down in the Prem. Welcome, Panav. Hope you're all good today. I think the 3 that will go down, of course, we already know Norwich is down. I do think it will be Villa and Bournemouth. I think Villa have got a very tough running now towards the end of the season. West Ham are safe, but they've got to go and beat Arsenal tomorrow, which, you know, Arsenal are still within a bit of an outside shout for a European spot, so they'll try and go for it. And as for the final game of the season, they've got West Ham, who, as I said, are safe anyway, but they'll try and pick up some points. So I do think Villa will go down, and I think Bournemouth as well. I think Bournemouth's time is up in the Premier League. They've tried. I think that's all you can say about them. They've tried. Not been a great season if you're a Bournemouth fan. Let's be real. I think that's the nicest way to put it. Is it's been a really poor season for them, and they've had decent results here and there, and unfortunately, a little bit too late with some of the results. You know, we saw them get that big win against Leicester, the 4-1 victory, not too long ago, but it's too late now, in my opinion, and I think they're down. So I do think the bottom 3 will stay as it is. Watford, West Ham, you know, Brighton, they're all safe, in my opinion. I don't think they will go down, and maybe some of you guys think differently. Maybe some of you will be looking at it and thinking a team like Watford could go down. Now they have sacked Nigel Pearson, which is certainly a shock, I think, for many fans, to why they've sacked him with 2 games left to go. It's really surprising. Who will come up from the Championship? Of course, Leeds are up as well, which is, of course, if you are a Leeds fan, congratulations. Good to see them back in the Premier League. I mean, I am a Rotherham United fan, so technically I should, you know, absolutely despise Leeds, but it's great for the Premier League, in my opinion. Really, really good for the Premier League to have them back, and hopefully we can see some good stuff from them next season. It'll be interesting to see how they do, of course, with Marcelo Bielsa in the Premier League. But I think Brentford will go up. Of course, that's going. I think is it the second spot is going down to the last game of the season, which I think Brentford will take. And then I think after that, I do think West Brom would win the playoffs. I think Fulham, they're all right as a club, but I do think Fulham are one of those sides that have bottled a little bit too many games here and there. But they've started to get a decent run of form going towards the end of the season. But the thing with the playoffs, and the great thing that, you know, that we love about the playoffs, is it's impossible to predict what happens. Let's be real. They're so exciting, they're so enthralling that, you know, half the time the predictions you make don't come off, and, you know, we see crazy results. You've only got to look at last year when a lot of people did think Leeds were going to go and win the playoffs, and Derby beat them in that ridiculously incredible second leg. But let's be real, no Leeds fan will care about that game anymore. Now they're back in the Premier League next season. And most importantly, we're going to have a Yorkshire Derby in the Premier League next season, which I'm looking forward to. Leeds versus Sheffield United. Be a good game, that one, indeed. Be a very, very good game of football. I'm looking forward to that. Of course, it'd be interesting to see the signings that Leeds do make, whether they get taken over or not, because I know there's been all that talk about the Qatari, kind of the same board that run PSG taking them over. We have no idea. I doubt it. But either way, they are going to make signings no matter what. It's just a case of who they bring in. I'm a Nottingham Forest fan. Hey, Nottingham Forest, disappointing for you, wasn't it? Losing against Barnsley at the weekend. Very, very disappointing result for you guys. And I mean, as for Barnsley, well, it's a big, big win they had to, didn't they? Because I think had they have lost that game or even drawn, I think they were relegated. So 3 points for them is absolutely massive indeed. that relegation battle going right down to the wire in terms of the likes of Charlton and Barnsley. So not too bad at all. How's Calvert-Lewin playing? I'm not going to lie, he had a very, very good opportunity in the first half, the kid. It was a point-blank range header, which he should have put into the back of the net. But I've got to say, he had another decent opportunity in the second half, but he's been fairly quiet. I mean, Richarlison's been pretty good in this game, but I would say he's been a little bit quiet. It's a shame, innit, really, because that run of form he had when Duncan Ferguson was there, and even when Ancelotti came in, he was doing so well, and he's gone a little bit more quiet again, hasn't he, now, which is a shame, but he will find his form back. I guess now it's just a case of waiting for the next season and kind of seeing what happens. There. So let's keep going here. We are 64 minutes on the clock. Sheffield United, they need to win this game. They're still 1-0 down. Richarlison, of course, with the only goal of this game so far. And in fact, it's still the only goal in the Premier League matches. There is the other game going on between Brighton and Newcastle. It's still 0-0 in that one after 62 minutes. So it's going to be interesting to see if there is a winner in that match. Of course, both sides safe anyway, so it doesn't matter for them, realistically speaking. Here's a chance for Everton to move forward and talk about a man. Calvert-Lewin is forward here, still going. Holds the ball for Sigurdsson, lofted towards Richarlison. And I do think, to be honest, Dominic Calvert-Lewin should have played that ball in a little bit earlier. He took a bit of time. I don't know whether he was going to try and take on the shot or not, or whether he was going to try and cross it in. So it's gone out of play for throw-in. Luca Digne. And can they get a second goal in this game? That is the interesting thing for Everton. They've got a lot of work to do. They're still 1-0 up, but Sheffield United, they've got to go for it, and no doubt we will see changes very shortly from both sides. No changes as of yet. Of course, they've both got those 5 substitutions to make in 3 instalments. Whether they can make the important substitutions to change the game up for Sheffield United specifically, I have no idea. Of course, right now a little bit disappointing from Chris Wilder's side. Here come Everton again. Theo Walcott on the ball, scoring in that previous game against Aston Villa. I think he's been fairly quiet as well today for Everton. It's not been the most convincing performance in the world for them, but at the end of the day, 3 points are 3 points, and I don't think an Everton fan would care if they get a win. Of course, they've drawn their last 3, and they do need to try and get a win and just get 3 points on the board, and I think they'll be trying to get that 50 points this season. Here they come again. Tom Davies on the counter-attack, but that is very, very quickly stopped there by Sander Berg, who has been pretty good in this game so far. Can Sheffield United do it, though? That's the question. Thanks to everybody who's watching. God, there's loads of you in here today. Thank you so much for everybody that has joined. If you are new, it'd be greatly appreciated if you do leave a subscription. We've got plenty more watch-alongs to come. Is Calvin a stick or has he talent? I'm not too sure, mate. I mean, it's a tough one. It's a tough one with Calvert-Lewin, because the thing is, it's one of those where it's been one of those works in progress for quite a while. Just very quickly there, Everton are on attack here. Theo Walcott bombing forward into the box, and he did really well there. Just a shame about his cross, trying to get it towards, I think, the path of Gylfi Sigurdsson there, and Ancelotti not happy with the cross into the box there at all. A little bit disappointed with Theo Walcott, but I think the thing with Calvert-Lewin is it's one of those where it's hard to tell whether he's more talent or whether he's just, one of those players that'll get goals here and there, because we saw him under Duncan Ferguson and he was fantastic. He was doing really, really well, but, these last couple of weeks he's kind of quietened down a little bit. I mean, I think next season it'll be interesting to see how he does at Everton. I think there are shouts for them maybe to sign another striker potentially, so I don't know what's going to happen, but I think they'll stick with him and give him some time. It's just a case of whether he can kind of kick on from what has been a pretty decent season for him. You've got to take into account, I think it's his best goal-scoring season for Everton. So it's, in his eyes, it's still a good season. But no doubt, he will want to get better and score more goals. And most importantly, it just all depends on what Everton bring in, players-wise next season. Because they are going to bring in players. And no doubt there will be some good players that will want to come in under Ancelotti. It's just a case of, 1, how much money they've got to spend, and 2, the players that they're linked with and the pulling power of Ancelotti. I mean, Carol is saying he's England's number 9, but of course, you've got to say that. You're repping your boy Calvert-Lewin. You can't say now that he's not England's number 9. You've still got to go with it. Rio Ferdinand, I don't know if any other team in the league can go through the gears like this Man United team. They've set the benchmark. That benchmark is 31 points behind Liverpool. Oh, you're being evil now to Man U fans, Chris. You're being evil to Man U fans. You're being evil to them. They've still got the Europa League to play for. And that's not even a dig at them. They've still got continental European football. Liverpool haven't. But we've got a goal kick here for Everton. Sheffield United have made a change. Lundstrom, who somebody did call earlier actually, has come onto the field. Of course, Chris Wilder trying to desperately get his side back into the game. They have just above 20 minutes to try and score 2 goals. I don't think a point would be enough. I think Chris Wilder would be very, very disappointed in his side. I mean, if you were a Sheffield United fan with the way that these games have been this season, you would have probably thought today they might have gone and got a victory against Everton. But there's still 20 minutes and they still could do it. We've seen crazy, crazy games recently. The last watch-along we actually did was the Manchester United game against Southampton with a 2-2 draw. And we saw a very, very late goal in that game to equalise. So you never know, that could happen again. But right now with Sheffield, with the way that they're playing, I don't think it could be done right now, but of course the substitutions might come into play. They've got a couple more to make. As for Everton, they haven't made any as far as I'm aware yet, so no doubt we will see Ancelotti make those in the next couple of minutes. England's number 99, more like it. You'll never walk alone. Oh God, the Liverpool fans are absolutely at the Everton fans tonight. I tell you what, if you're an Everton fan, if I was you, I'd probably just shut the chat off because you're getting battered tonight. But they're just looking at the bench right now. Some of the players, a couple of the Everton youngsters there. Ace Sims, one of those players, just waiting on the bench to come on. As I said, Ancelotti not made any changes yet, as far as I'm aware. Of course, his side aren't doing too bad right now. But here's John Fleck, one of those substitutions that's come on. Good chance lofted into the box. It bobbles out, and Sheffield United have got a corner just where the 70th minute mark is. Luca Digne getting that out, clearing it away from the goal. Could they stick this in the back of the net? We've seen set pieces for Sheffield United come off quite a bit this season. I mean, they got a big 1-0 victory against Wolves a couple of weeks ago from set pieces. Of course, John Egan, great corner that was. It's going to be lofted in by John Fleck, who just lofted into the box. And, ooh, well, John Pickford there. Did he make a save? Because I tell you what, if that was a save, that was absolutely impressive. Let's just see that one back again. I mean, he's absolutely delighted with himself. Let's have a look. So Fleck whips the corner in. Got a lot of curve on it. I don't know whether he's trying to hit it into the corner, and he does indeed make a save, and it's a good save indeed, because I tell you what, if he'd have not got a punch on that, John Fleck would have scored from a corner, which would have been absolutely an outstanding goal, but John Pickford does get a hand onto it. And the corner was taken, but the highlight on Amazon took a little bit too long, lads. It didn't actually come to anything, and it's come back to Everton once again. Man United sees a real 1-1 draw against Champions England and have not going beaten. Oh God, Jesus, you're berating them now. I'm surprised there's no other Man U fans in the chat just trying to come back and say shit back at you. Jesus, getting slaughtered in here today. Bloody hell. Man U fans and Everton fans getting absolutely battered. Man U aren't even playing today. It's Sheffield United and Everton. God. But we've got under 20 minutes to go. Still no substitutions yet from Everton. They're 1-0 to the good right now. In terms of the other game, as I said, there is another game still going on in the background today between Brighton and Newcastle. It's 0-0 still in that one. Brighton dominating, but not any goals as of yet. And keep your eyes out, because there is another game on just afterwards. Wolves versus Crystal Palace. Once again, it is a big, big game, because if Sheffield United do lose, it really does put Wolves in the driving seat to qualify for the Europa League again next season. If they can beat Palace, that game is at 8:15. I think that one is on BT, if I am correct. So if you are wanting a little bit more Premier League action just after this, and you're in the UK, then BT should have that match. In terms of watch-alongs on here, do keep your eyes out if you want to. Do leave a subscription if you want more watch-alongs. We are going to be live on Sunday. For the final games of the Premier League, we're going to have special guests, the Sports Corner team. We're going to be covering every game, every match, every goal. We're going to be live for that one. That'll be on Sunday, around 3:30, 4:45 UK time for that one. So if you don't have access to the Premier League games and you want to know the scores and you kind of just want to chill out for a bit, then come join us on Sunday for all of that action, of course. 2 very big games going on Sunday. Chelsea versus Wolves And Leicester versus Man United, of course, that top 4 race is still well and truly in the balance if you are a Leicester United or Chelsea fan. But as it currently stands, it is Everton 1, Sheffield United 0. Everton just slowing the game down now. They've got the lead. There's not really any pressure on them to do anything. As I said, Everton haven't got any more fight left to get into the Europa League or Champions League or anything like that. Of course, they're a little bit too far down the table to do that. But with this win, if they can hold on, they will move into 11th place. And of course, I think the aim for Ancelotti this season will be to try and hit 50 points for the end of the season, which isn't bad. I mean, technically, they would only be around kind of 9 points away from the top 6. But for a club like Everton, I think a lot of fans would have expected a lot more. But of course, it's all about next season and whether Ancelotti can bring in signings or not. But here comes Sheffield on the counter attack. Baldock into Sanderberg. A little bit too far out to try and have an opportunity on goal. And now it's into the path of Lundstrom. Now back to Baldock once again into Lundstrom. So good football here from Sheffield United. And when Lundstrom trying to backheel a ball into the middle of the box, a little bit audacious, and it's gone straight back to Everton and once again. And it's risky now because, of course, Sheffield United going for it. There's going to be plenty of open space for Everton to counter-attack. And we will probably see maybe a couple of attacking changes here for Everton at some point to try and nick a 2-0 win and really put Sheffield United to the sword here. Quite, the blades to the sword, which would have been a great anagram if I'd have said blades first, but I didn't at all. I've made my decision. Can't limit. It's officially shit. You heard it here first. He's no Bobby Firmino, that's why. Oh, God. Fucking hell. But no, if you're a Blades fan, you're probably going to be very disappointed with this right now. In fact, once again, I'm very surprised that Wilder's not made more changes here. 15 minutes left of the game to go with a bit of additional time. Bit disappointing so far, and they've got a lot of work to do if they want to try and get a victory in this game. Of course, they're 1 goal down in this game. Here they come forward now. Good chance for them to potentially get some at Lundstrom. Right on the edge of the box. Moved into the middle for, I think that's Sanderberg. Just taking their time, holding the ball up, waiting for an opportunity to whip this one in. And now they've got a chance, but it's even better defending. Outstanding work from Tom Davies with a tackle right on the edge of the box. And well, there'll be players probably protesting for a penalty or a free kick, but it's just a bloody good tackle there from Tom Davies. And, George Baldock, I think, was going to try and whip that in, and that's going to go out for a corner. And they need to make the most of the set pieces here, Sheffield United. It's whipped in by John Fleck. It's a good ball this time, but I think Michael Keane got his head onto it, clears it away, and it's hoofed even further away by, I think that was Richarlison. And Everton here, just looking a little bit comfortable in this match. As I said, Sheffield United just pushing a couple more players forward here. The pressure is on them. I do think, in my opinion, if they lose this game today, then it probably does mean they are going to be out of the race for Europe. They've got an interesting game on the final day. I think, I can't quite remember who it is against, to be honest. I will have a quick gander and see their final against actually. So the final game is against Southampton, who, of course, I think are unbeaten since the return of the Premier League. So very, very tricky game of football for them if they do want to go out and get some points to try and get into the European spots. But that opportunity a moment ago. They have actually brought Billy Sharp on as well, by the way. So they have made another substitution. Billy Sharp, of course, coming on from the Championship, one of their top scorers, of course, from Championship and League One football. Can he be the difference maker in this game as they try and desperately get an equaliser? Because if they can, get a goal in the next 5 minutes or so, there's still time to nick a winner in this game. And with the way that Everton have been this season, they've kind of dropped a lot of points from winning positions. And of course, they've had a lot of draws recently. If they do draw this game, I think it would be the 4th consecutive points that they've got in a row. But we are going to have a yellow card coming out here. Poor tackle. It's a Sheffield United player. That is going to be... sorry, is it an Everton player going into the book here? Looked like he booked a Sheffield United player. There we go. Sorry, I've knocked my camera 2 seconds. Apologise about that. My sound might have gone off very quickly there. Let me just sort out my camera again. But it's going to be Calvert-Lewin going into the book there. Getting a yellow card. Absolutely a yellow card. Just kind of putting his hand all over George Baldock there. Not much he can really do about it. But I'm going to reset my camera very quickly because it's disconnected. I accidentally tugged it. There we go. Camera's back now. Boom. We're all good. But 10 minutes left of this game. Can they nick a winner? Apologies about the camera going. Or can Sheffield United get an equalising goal? Of course, I think even right now, if you're an Everton fan, you probably do want to get a second goal just to make this a little bit more comfortable for you. If you're a United fan, then it's a nail-biting moment because those European dreams might be about to be over. And I guess at this stage, as a United fan, you do kind of have a right to feel disappointed. I mean, at the beginning of the season, if you'd have said you were going to finish in the top 10, you would have absolutely put your hands up and said, I'd take that. I don't think any Sheffield United fan would have expected to be around this area at the beginning of the season. And it's been incredible for them to get there and do what they've done so far. But, we've been so close to a European spot. And other teams like Wolves dropping points in recent weeks. They needed to win this game tonight. But as it stands, Everton are winning. And Everton come forward again. Theo Walcott trying to loft a ball into the box here. He's on the edge of the box again. It comes back towards him. Here he's on the ball now on the far right-hand side. Now to Sidibe, who has been very quiet in this game. But to be honest, Sheffield United have had a couple of all-right attacks, but nothing to scream and shout about. Here is Sidibe. Low cross into Sigurdsson. Great work there, and this could be an opportunity on goal. And oh, well. That was a really good ball that was crossed in there. And Dean Henderson, not Jordan Henderson. Jordan Henderson doesn't play in goal. Dean Henderson comes out, and Calvert-Lewin. Well. It was a great opportunity. Literally one-touch football from Everton there to get it around that Sheffield United defence. It was a pass from Calvert-Lewin into Theo Walcott. Squares it back into Calvert-Lewin, who just is a little bit late on the run, and it goes wide. Of course, as I said, Dean Henderson claiming the ball there, and not long after that, Andre Gomez just gone for a long-range shot, which is a little bit too wide and won't be classed as an on-target opportunity. But we've got less than 10 minutes left of this game. It's a tense one right now. Can I just say as well, big thank you to the new subscribers that we've had. If you are new and you're enjoying it right now, be greatly appreciated if you do leave a subscription. We've got more watch-alongs to come. We're going to be doing watch-alongs for every single Champions League and Europa League game. So if you haven't got access to those, keep your eyes out because we're going to be covering every single game live. And just thanks for everybody. It's been crazy the amount of new subscribers and new people we've had in our streams recently. I really do appreciate everybody joining the stream. Has maybe never joined before, but honestly, it's awesome to get some new faces in, and it's good to see the channel growing because we've been working on it for a couple of months now, doing watch-alongs to try and test them out, and you guys seem to be really enjoying them. So we're going to be doing a lot more next season. But the game's just gone a little bit quiet right now. Everton just passing around in their half of the field. Just looking at the chat right now, it is a bit of a debate between the Liverpool fans. CJW saying Liverpool title win will always be tainted and has asterisks next to it. Biggest cheats out there, paid VAR to win them. The league got the most unbearable fans ever. And then the Liverpool fans, Chris and the kid, just making sure they know about Liverpool. Why don't they bring on Big Dunk for Calvin Loser? Well, bring on Duncan Ferguson. Bloody hell. But now here comes Sheffield United on the attack. Of course, as you would expect, a lot of wing play from the side. Baldock and Ender Stevens really pushing very high up the field. But it's just not worked at all today. And that's why Billy Sharp has come onto the pitch. It's been really quiet. And I've got to say, McGoldrick and McBurney not done a great deal at all in this match. Been very disappointing. And even now, Billy Sharp's had one or two decent opportunities, but just nothing good really for Sheffield United right now. And they're running out of time here. And I think the players know themselves. And there is actually going to be a substitution too here for Sheffield United. Chris Basham is coming off. Richarlison Zivkovic is coming on, which just tells you the situation right now, how Chris Wilder wants to play. Another striker's coming on. Richarlison Zivkovic, you might remember the name. Former player at Ajax, a young star, moved to the Chinese Super League. He's on loan at Sheffield United. Of course, right now he will be going back to China very soon. Although I do think Chelsea, what the hell am I talking about? Sorry, Sheffield United might sign him up permanently. He's not done a lot at the club so far, but he's very young. He's only 22, 23, young star. Still got plenty of years to adapt and grow as a player. Of course, could he be the difference maker in this match and maybe nick what could be a valuable point or 3 points in this match for Sheffield United today. Well, his first touch on the ball has led to a Sheffield United throw-in. Good start from the Dutchman there, who, as I said, played in the Chinese Super League. He wasn't too bad in Holland. He was all right as a player. If you've played Football Manager before, you will know a lot about him. If you've played FIFA as well, he was very, very good on FIFA in previous years on career mode. You could say a career mode legend. But there is going to be a change as well here for Everton. They're going attacking too. As I said, 1-0, very, very tight result right now. But they're still well and truly in it, Sheffield United. Theo Walcott is coming off the field. And on comes the young Anthony Gordon, who has had a lot of games in the recent weeks, hasn't started today. He's now on the pitch with just above 7 minutes to go of this match. Theo Walcott actually rushed off the pitch there, told to go off at the nearest point, of course. I know a lot of players haven't really been doing that rule since the return, kind of just going off as they usually would before that rule kind of went into place, but with all the coronavirus stuff, I guess that's the last thing to really be caring about on where a player goes off the pitch. Here comes Sheffield United again on the attack. McGoldrick trying to get the ball and not the greatest touch in the world, and it goes straight back to Everton. And John Fleck with a tackle gives Everton... they've given it as a Sheffield United throw there. I thought Everton had got a free kick with the way that John Fleck was looking at the referee. It is really squeaky bum time, as they would say in England, right now for Sheffield United. 84 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock. I would say they've got about 7 minutes to try and... 8 or 9 minutes to get something back in this game. I would say there'll probably be about 2 or 3 minutes of additional time in this game. Can they do it? Everton, potentially about to get what would be a decent 3 points for them, unless Sheffield United can get something back in this game. But there's no good opportunity here. Lofted into the box, into the path of... Oh, that's really poor. Into the path of George Baldock, I think it was, just in the box there. Has a lovely opportunity for a header, and, well, it's not a great header at all from the fullback. Really, really poor, and, I mean, it's not a great connection at all. I think it's a very awkward opportunity to take the header. It's not a very high cross at all. It's really hard to kind of get a header on it, but it does go wide of the mark, and another opportunity goes missing for Sheffield United there, and goes for a goal kick for Everton. I mean, if you're an Everton fan, you'll be quite happy if they do come out with this game with a win, 3 points on the board. That'll be the first 3 points in a little while. 3 draws in a row, including a draw last week against Aston Villa, that 1-1 draw, which Theo Walcott did equalise late in that game. Of course, I think there will be a lot of Aston Villa fans who will have had a pretty nail-biting last 10 minutes, hoping that their side could nick the win, which unfortunately they didn't. Can Everton this time hold on? Can they do the opposite? Can they be the ones that hold on to nick the 3 points in this game? Or will Sheffield United nick a point late on? If they do take a point today, that will put them onto 55 points, which of course means they would have to hope that Wolves drop points today against Palace. That game kicks off in about 30 minutes' time if you are looking for another game right after this. Of course, I'm not going to be doing a watch-along for that, unfortunately, but if you have enjoyed the watch-along, then if you do want to stick around and subscribe, we've got plenty more to come. Here comes Sheffield United once again. 86 minutes on the clock. Can they nick something in this game? David McGoldrick, really deep. Can he be the player to decide this match? Of course, as I said, he scored those 2 goals against Chelsea not too long ago. The other game that's going on, Brighton and Newcastle, is still 0-0. Brighton still dominating in that one, but no goals as of yet. Newcastle have finally had their first shot on target in that match. And Sheffield United, they keep coming forward. This really is the decisive game, because it does look like that this could be over in terms of the European spot for Sheffield United. Has this been the decisive game that cost the home side from getting into the Europa League? There is going to be another change here in this match for Everton. Gylfi Sigurdsson is coming off, and the referee is once again walking Gylfi Sigurdsson off, kind of telling him to hurry up here. So the captain, I think he was for the game, comes off the field, and coming on for the final couple of minutes in this match is going to be, just very quickly, Seamus Coleman. So they're going to be a bit more defensive now. Of course, 1-0 up, you would expect them to, with a couple more minutes left. So Seamus Coleman comes on, And Gylfi Sigurdsson comes off, who was all right today. I mean, the cross he put in for Richarlison's goal was absolutely outstanding. Great finish, great header from the Brazilian. And even better cross, I think you could say, from Gylfi Sigurdsson. But 2 minutes left of normal time, with a little bit of additional time here. Can Everton maybe nick a second goal? They're on the attack right now. Here's Tom Davies. Moves it to the far right-hand side of the field. Now to the left, it's Invidigne, who tries to whip across into the box, and it goes wide of the mark and straight into the path of Sheffield United, who look to press forward in numbers. They've got to now, of course. Zivkovic, Sharp, and McGoldrick all on here. And Pickford is a very lucky man because he nearly just gave the ball straight into the path of Zivkovic, who would have had the easiest of tap-ins I think the Dutchman will have ever had in his footballing career. Trying to just run the ball a little bit too heavy there, Pickford, and we've seen mistakes like that before from the Englishman at Everton, and he very nearly just gave Sheffield United another point. But we are going to have another yellow card in this game, and this time it's going to be Richarlison, who goes into the book a little bit late on into this game, with 1 minute to go before additional time. It's not been the most amazing of affairs. It could change, of course. We have had late equalisers in our other games. The Man United game I did last week with Kieran D, that had a late equaliser in it. Could this be the same? We'll have to find out. But just looking at Chris Wilder right now, he looks really, really disappointed. I mean, it kind of looks like he's already given up. I do think he probably thought in his head he could maybe nick a European spot right at the death of the season, but with a couple of minutes to go here, they pretty much need to win this game to give them any hopes of a European spot. I mean, a point would still put them in a position to try and go for it, but they would need Wolves to potentially drop points tonight against Palace to give them some form of hope. Of course, Arsenal have still got a game to play tomorrow night, which means they could drop into 9th place if the result stays like this. But they've got 3 forward. They've got McGoldrick, Sharp, Zivkovic, and the centre-backs, of course, are bombing forward as well. Is there time? 4 minutes of additional time. Could it be done? They need to really just get, at least a minimum, a point to keep their hopes alive in the final game of the season. If anything, they've got the best game possible. Chelsea have got to play Wolves, which means if Wolves do drop points tonight against Palace, it's going to be very, very tricky if Chelsea need the points on the final day, because both teams are going to go for it and really go all out. Long ball's been sent into the box towards the path of Billy Sharp. Sidibe, it comes to. He's going to the corner flag, trying to waste time, and he tries to clear his lines, and it goes back to Sheffield United there, and it's a poor ball from the French fullback who's just gifted it straight back to the home side. Of course, now the sun has gone, the shade has started to kick in here in Sheffield at Bramall Lane. They're coming forward in numbers. In fact, nearly every player is forward. Everton will probably go long ball, trying to hit this forward towards Calvert-Lewin, who's the only forward up right now. But right now it's in the possession of Sheffield United. McGoldrick, right on the edge of the box. Lovely one-touch football here from Sheffield United. Now into the path of Sheffield United again. Could be crossed into the box here towards McGoldrick. He's lofted a little bit too heavy. Drops for Billy Sharp. Now into McGoldrick. He doesn't get to him, but O'Connell tries to whip the ball in. He hits it straight into the face of Luca Digne, who's gone down as if he's been shot. Of course, that is straight to the head, so they are just going to check on him to make sure he's okay, but he's gone down, and it is going to be a Sheffield United throw-in. And with about 2 minutes left on the clock, it was hit with a little bit of pace. I'm going to say, Jesus, he has gone down there, but he'll be all right, let's be real. Sheffield United, if you're a Blades fan, you're going to be very disappointed with this, because if you looked at it, with your final 3 games to go, Southampton is potentially a winnable game. Everton, with the way that they've been in the last couple of weeks, was potentially a winnable game. Leicester wasn't in the best of form, could have potentially been another winnable game, and it looks like they're going to be coming out of their last 3 fixtures with 2 defeats, unless they can nick something late on here. The pressure still on Everton. Bicycle kick clearance from Richarlison. It comes straight back into the path of Sheffield United once again. There are 2 players back right now with 2 forward for Everton. They know that if it goes straight back into the path of an Everton forward, it will surely be game, set and match, and they'll surely get that second goal. There'll probably be about a minute and a half, 2 minutes left. It pretty much could only be an equaliser, but here come Everton bombing forward. Referee's going to play an advantage here, Anthony Gordon is bombing forward. It's 2 versus 3. Gordon and Calvert-Lewin up top. Gordon tries to cross it into Calvert-Lewin, but Calvert-Lewin's run is a little bit too far-fetched, and Gordon's ball is a little bit too far wide. And it's back to Sheffield United again with a minute on the clock. For everybody who has joined the watch along, by the way, thank you so much. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a subscription. It'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. We're going to be doing more watch-alongs for the Champions League and the Europa League in the future. We're going to be doing every single game in the Champions League and the Europa League, so you do not want to miss out on that. If you don't have access to the games, we've got every single match in August. But there's going to be one more change here for Everton. In fact, there isn't going to be a change here. Sims was going to come on, but Ancelotti sent him back to the bench. Only 25 seconds left of this game. Of course, you would expect Everton to try and run the clock down here. And the referee, I think, has just given a free kick here for Sheffield United. Just making sure. He's having a talking to Andre Gomez. John Egan coming over as well. So, just trying to find out what's happening here. They don't like to move angles on Amazon Prime much. In fact, it might even be a goal kick here. Chris Wilder is not looking happy. Very, very upset. His team, you've got to say, have really dropped off towards the end of the season. It is an Everton goal kick. It's going to be hoofed long by Jordan Pickford. The play still goes on. And there is going to be a free kick, which has to be taken quickly because the referee isn't going to add on a great deal of time. It's played back to Dean Henderson. There is still time on the clock for them maybe to hit this long and have one more opportunity in this game. Dean Henderson hoofs it up the pitch. Last chance saloon this is now. Can they have one opportunity? They're bombing forward. John Fleck right on the edge of the Everton box. It's lofted into the path of... Oh, it was into David McGoldrick there. And the referee has given a throw-in with... Literally, we're now 50 seconds above additional time, and this has to be taken in with a long throw-in. Well, we've seen Sheffield United with their long throw-ins before. Could this be the deciding opportunity? It's played short into Fleck. Lofted into the box. It's bobbling down. It's still in the box for Sheffield United. Lofted back in again. It's still there. McGoldrick on the edge of the box, and he's absolutely scuffed his line with the opportunity. And the referee blows his whistle. Could that be the end of Sheffield United's European run? The Blades have been taken to the sword by the Toffees. Big win for Everton, who, as I said, don't have anything to play for now, but they needed to try and get a good run of form going. Of course, they've drawn 3 of their previous games. And as for Sheffield United, well, David McGoldrick had an unbelievable opportunity there to try and smash it into the back of the net. And let's just say his shot went into row Z. Very, very disappointing for him there. And, well, they're going to be absolutely disappointed. 2 defeats in a row for Sheffield United. A big, big loss. That might mean that's the end of their Europa League battle to try and get into the 7th place spot. But there's still time, of course. Wolves playing tonight against Crystal Palace. If they drop points and lose, Sheffield United will still be in the race. But, of course, it's a very, very big ask. As for Everton, winning goal from Richarlison. Fantastic finish from the Brazilian. Great header into the box from Gylfi Sigurdsson. A beautiful cross to give Everton the only goal of the game. So as for Everton, they will move into 11th place in the Premier League, 49 points. They move into 11th on goal difference. Southampton have a minus 11 goal difference on 49 points. Everton have minus 10, so it will be, of course, quite close in terms of that 11th and 12th spot. As for Sheffield United, well, they will currently stay in 8th place. They could drop down to 9th place, depending on Arsenal's game against Aston Villa tomorrow night. So that is our live watch-along of Everton versus Sheffield United finished there. Thank you to everybody who has watched it. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And I know I keep saying it, but if you have enjoyed it, do leave a follow. We've got so many more watch-alongs to come in the near future. We've got our live Premier League watch-along. Do not miss it. We're going to be live on Sunday, 3:30 to 3:45, around about that time. We're going to be live for the final Premier League day. There's going to be special guests. There's going to be all the Sports Corner team in the stream. Special guests, as I said. We're going to be covering every game, every goal, every moment as the final day of the Premier League comes to us. That is on Sunday. You don't want to miss out on it. In terms of the other watch-alongs we'll be doing as well, we're going to have watch-alongs for every match in the Champions League and the Europa League when that comes back in August. You don't want to miss out on that. There's about 30 games to be played. We're covering every game live on the channel throughout August, so you don't want to miss out on that. It's going to be a very busy time, but plenty of watch-alongs, and you'll have the access to any game you want. Of course, there's some days where there's 2 or 3 matches being played. We're going to be live with every single match, so you'll have a choice of which games you want to watch. And then other things as well, if you want some different content, maybe you don't want anything about football, you want some other sporting stuff, we do have the Wrestling Corner, which will be live and available with another episode tomorrow morning. Around 11 AM UK time, they'll be live with that, so keep your eyes out for Rowan and Simon's podcast. Great work on the Wrestling Corner. Wednesday, our football podcast, the Top Corner podcast. We're back with that, our final episode of the 19 to 20 European football season. It's going to be fun. It's going to be like a little bit of a party. Chilled out podcast. You don't want to miss it. It'll be good fun and a good laugh, as it always is. We usually mess up on something. Then on Thursday or Friday, we have the NFL Corner with Will and Kieran. I said Simon there. Kieran and Will. Plenty of content with them, of course. NFL starting up in the next coming months, so you don't want to miss out on that. So thanks to everybody who's watched the stream. I hope you've enjoyed it. Keep your eyes out in the future for more watch-alongs. There's going to be plenty more football watch-alongs. We're going to be doing not just Premier League, I said Champions League and Europa League. I mean, I might try and squeeze in one more watch-along if I potentially can. I don't know if there's any other games I'll be able to properly access in terms of watch-alongs left. I'll very, very quickly check now just to see whether there is any other watch-alongs. But if you want to, check out on Twitter at @_Top Corner. I'll always tweet out on there when I'm live, and of course, if you subscribe to the channel, we'll always be able to see when we're live with those shows and watch-alongs. So thank you very much for everybody watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you all for watching. I will see you for the next watch-along, which will probably be on Sunday. Have a great rest of your day, and see you later. Goodbye.